What's going on, everybody on YouTube? Steve with the Raiken Profit coming back to you with another video. And in today's video, I want to show you a really cool item that I just purchased that's going to help me to take better pictures, make more sales, and ultimately it's going to help me to grow my business. So I'm going to take you behind the scenes and show you this item because I tell you right now, if you're new or an intermediate or an advanced and you don't already have this or the high quality thing that I'm going to show you, you definitely got to look at investing in it because I tell you, it's going to make a huge difference. So let me show you what I'm talking about. All right, so we're walking into my photography studio, and if you've been following me on Facebook, you might be able to notice the difference, but if not, you might not be able to know what I'm talking about. But the item that I am talking about in this video is the background. This is a seamless paper background, and pretty much the reason why I got this is, as you could see, it's seamless. There's no wrinkles in the background. It's just perfect white. It's just a great background to put on your backdrop to take pictures. And let me show you a little up close of how this thing works. So here's the backdrop right here. There's 1, 2, 3 bars, and pretty much what you do is you unscrew this top bar and you just slide the paper onto it. And you know, you could slide more down and slide it back up depending on, you know, how much you need. Right now I got some shoes in there holding it down, but I'll find something different. But yeah, this thing really is gorgeous. It makes a huge difference. And like I said, find me on Facebook at Raiken Profit. I showed some pictures of how it looks, and I mean, it is absolutely gorgeous. This is the old one that I had. It was just like a little cloth background, and I tell you right now, it was horrible. And the reason why I didn't like it is you could see there's wrinkles all in the background, and you know, it's not seamless. It just didn't look that great. And the only reason why I stuck with it for so long is, I mean, maybe I was being lazy, but it came with the actual backdrop and everything. It was stock, so I was just using it. It did the job. But I tell you right now, if you look at any of the sellers on eBay who are selling a lot of items, especially clothing, and it looks really crisp, a lot of them are using the seamless paper backgrounds. So definitely check this out. If you want to buy this exact one that I purchased off of Amazon, then you could check the link below in the description area. But I tell you right now, this thing is awesome. It was about, I think it was like $36 plus like $30 to ship. So it came out to about 66 bucks, and definitely well worth the investment. This one is 107 inches wide. There's two variations. I think there's a 57 inch and then a 107 inch. So depending on how big or long your backdrop is, you're gonna have to buy that. You know, buy the one that fits. But the backdrop that I have, and the backdrop is these metal bars, the 1, 2, 3. Mine is 6 by 10, so the 107 inch one fit on just perfectly. And I tell you right now, I'm really excited to be taking pictures with this because, I mean, it just looks beautiful. It really does. So if you're using the cloth background, or maybe you're just using a wall, or maybe you just have a hanging mannequin, I don't know, just standing in a hallway or against the door, you might want to invest in getting a backdrop. Get yourself a nice seamless paper background. You know, get some lights. I mean, it's really cheap. These are from Cowboy Studio, these lights. And I've had these for a while, but they do really well. I think the lights, the stand, the umbrella, those are like 35 bucks, really cheap. The backdrop and the cloth that came with it, I think that was like another 30 or 40 bucks. So I mean, really cheap. It's really not expensive to get yourself a nice little studio set up. So I'll also leave some links to these lights as well, and the umbrellas, and I'll throw in a few other deals that they have. Sometimes they'll put like a backdrop, the background, like the lights, they'll put it all in like a kind of like a bundle deal. So I'll leave some links if you're interested, because I know how it is. When I first got started, when I was trying to figure out what lights to buy, what backdrop to buy, you know, the cloth, all that stuff, I was a lost puppy. So I'll definitely help you out there and leave some links in the description. But yeah, really excited, really pumped up to start, you know, improving the quality of my pictures and just stepping up my game, because that's really what it's all about. So flip the camera around. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to like, comment, subscribe. You know, if you have any questions about what to buy or, you know, where to go, hit me up. You could definitely go on eBay as well. I like Amazon though, because, you know, very fast shipping, and I don't know, it's just, I feel like it's easier sometimes to buy on Amazon, but they definitely have some good ones on eBay as well. What's going on, everybody? Steve here, Raiken Profit, RaikenProfit.com. In this video, we're going to be covering shipping on eBay for beginners, and we're going to be talking about some of the best tips and tricks for getting started with shipping, the cheapest ways to ship, what tools and supplies to use, and also where you can get the cheapest tools and supplies when you're first getting started, because I know what it's like. You know, I started selling on eBay over 5 years ago. I was actually working at a place called the Cracker Barrel. They treated me like crap over there, at least the customers did. I was broke as a joke. I was living at home with my parents, and eBay really allowed me to change my life. And I've learned so much over the years in regards to shipping in general, because I know it's like kind of one of the most challenging things when you're first getting started. So I want to share with you pretty much all of my tips and tricks and strategies to hopefully, you know, get you guys moving in the right direction. So you have landed on the right video. So if you're ready to rock and roll and learn a bunch of really cool stuff to get your eBay business off the ground, be sure to hit that like button, show some love, and let's dive right into it. So the first thing that I wanted to discuss with everybody here is making sure that you're shipping your items from home and you're printing your labels from home. One of the biggest mistakes that I made when I first got started was I didn't know that you can print your labels off of eBay directly. And what I was doing was, like, for example, when I sold an item, what I would do is I would go to the post office and I would bring in all my items that sold, and then we would have to find a box, we would have to weigh everything there, we would have to print a label. And that was cool for like when I was coming in with like 1 or 2 items, but it came to a point where I had like 5 items a day I was selling, and then 10 items a day. And I remember just like being in line and like getting up to the person that was helping me, and it would take like 10, 15, 20 minutes. And if you guys know anything about the post office, the lines get crazy quick, and people were like so pissed off at me, and like people were like yelling at me like, what are you doing? Like, print your labels from home. And I'm like, how do I print my labels from home? So long story short, I learned that you can print your labels and ship everything from home by having your own scale, by printing through the eBay system. And not only did that save time and save, you know, headaches and being yelled at the post office, but actually saved me money as well. Because when you ship your items from home through the eBay system, it's actually subsidized. So you actually get a little bit of a discount when you ship your items through the eBay system. Plus, you can find the best way to ship the cheapest. You know, for example, it might be cheaper for you to ship first class with a poly bag versus putting it in a brown box and shipping a priority, right? When you go to the post office, their goal is to just get things shipped out for you. It's not to like save you the most money. They're a business. So that's the first tip I want to share with you. Make sure you're shipping your items from home. There's plenty of videos you can look up. I'm not going to do that live right now. It's going to take too long. But I really want this video for you to be like an overarching, like 30,000 foot overview of like, this is what you need to do. So at least you have the steps to do it, and then you could dive deeper into it. But make sure you're shipping from home. Afterwards, I'll share with you guys some like scales you can purchase off of eBay or Amazon. And the ones that I've used, so you can do this from home. It's not that hard. It takes a little bit of a learning curve at first. You know, there's a little learning curve, but you can definitely do it. So that's the first big thing. Secondly, make sure that you have the right shipping supplies at your house. So one thing I want to do with the screen share right now is go through the United States Postal Service website, USPS.com. And I want to show you where you can get some free supplies. So if you just go over to USPS.com, I'll just do it from scratch for you guys. But if you go over there and then you go to, let's see, if you go to Postal Store, you go to Shipping Supplies. Here's going to be a whole bunch of free shipping supplies. You can actually filter it right here, free shipping supplies. Sorry, my computer's lagging a little bit right now. We're getting hit by a big snowstorm in Connecticut right now. But there's a whole bunch of free shipping supplies you can actually get off of the USPS.com. And what's cool is you can just order it all and they'll ship it directly to your house. So let's go over some of the boxes and the various items that I would get if you're brand new, and what it would be good to have at your house so you're prepared to ship and save some good money. So, of course, it's going to differ based on what you're shipping. I don't know if you're shipping small items or if you're doing clothing or if you're doing big items, but for now, I'm going to just assume that you're shipping all different types of items. So, I don't really mess with these 2 boxes right here, but if you're shipping shoes, this is definitely a good box right here. It's called a Priority Mail Shoe Box. And they ship in packs of 10 or 25. It's free, which is really cool. You can see the price is $0. But it's perfect for shoes, and it actually ships based on weight. So if you get this box, you're going to have to ship it priority. You're not going to be able to ship it, FedEx Ground or FedEx Smart Post or UPS Ground. You're going to have to ship priority, which may or may not be the best option for you. I'm going to share with you guys some boxes that are regional boxes and then flat rate boxes as well. But this is definitely a good box to have. You're probably going to ask yourself, like, how do I know if I should use a shoe box or if I should use the flat rate or if I should use the regional box? Pretty much what you're going to want to do is play around with the different options. So when you're shipping through the eBay platform, you can put in like the person's address and everything and the shipping weight and the dimensions. And then you could put in, priority, flat rate, medium to see what the price is. Maybe it's 14. And then maybe you do just straight up priority using the shoebox and you see that it's 17. And then maybe you try regional B and you see that it's 9. So then you would discover, okay, that's the cheapest. You kind of got to play around with it over time. You'll get a feel for it, but that's definitely a good box to have if you're shipping shoes. I'm going to just, if I skip over it, then I don't find really any true value in it. So just assume you're not going to need it. Priority mail, small flat rate envelope. So I've actually used these in the past to ship clothing, but I actually wouldn't recommend it anymore. I'm going to give you guys a better option. So let's skip over all of these. Skip. Okay, so this is a good one I have right here, the Priority Mail Medium Flat Rate Box. So this is actually a box that ships on it ships at a specific price when you ship it. I don't know off the top what it is. It's like $12 or $13. But essentially you can ship up to a certain amount of weight in this box. Let me see if it says it here. It doesn't say it here, but there's a certain weight. I think it's like 60 or 70 pounds. Don't quote me on that. But for the most part, you're going to be able to ship pretty much anything in it if you're not shipping rocks. It just has to fit in the box. That's the thing with the flat rate boxes. It ships at a certain price pretty much anywhere in the country. This doesn't apply to international. As long as it fits in it and it's not like bulging out and there's like weird shapes sticking out. You can't alter these boxes from my understanding. I've seen people create videos where they're like altering the boxes and like trying to ship them flat rate. Like you can't do that. I believe you might be able to do that if it's just straight postage, but I know they don't really like you altering the boxes. So that's definitely a good box to have right there. I would get the medium flat rates, also the small and the large flat rate. So there's different flat rates for various sizes. And there's also a couple various sizes as well. So this one is more of like a rectangle shape. It's thicker. This one's going to be a little longer and a little less thick right here. These are both medium flat rates that are going to ship at the same price. So I'll definitely grab both of those. I would get, 10 or 25 each. Scrolling down, again, here's a small flat rate. I would grab that as well. For anything that you have that's heavy and small and maybe going a long distance. So for example, I live in Connecticut. If I had to ship something that was like, 10 or 12 pounds and it was able to fit in this small box, the best option would be this box. Because if I did straight up priority based on postage weight, it would be like $15. If I did regional boxes, it wouldn't make sense. The regional boxes are best if you're shipping like within your region. Obviously I wouldn't be able to do first class because it's more than 16 ounces. And it would be a lot more expensive even going UPS Ground or FedEx Smart Post. So this would be the best option right here for something like that. Right here we have a regional rate box. So there's a couple different regional boxes. If you're wondering what is a regional box, it's essentially a box that ships based on weight. It's not a flat rate, so the prices do change, but it's priced according to where it's shipping to. So from my understanding, and I might be slaughtering the definition here, but from my understanding and the way I kind of look at it is, again, I'm in Connecticut. If I'm shipping within my region, like a couple states over or like 4 or 5 states over, if it fits, it usually always makes sense for me to ship it in a regional A or a B box. The regional A box is a little smaller. The regional B box is a bit bigger. So if it's somewhat within my region, and I think that's why they call it a regional box, a lot of times it will be cheaper than just shipping it in like a plain priority box that's based on postage, or even shipping it with a like a medium flat rate. The medium flat rates and the small flat rates, they can be a little more expensive. Plus these are bigger, so a lot of times you won't be able to fit it in the small flat rate box. So definitely pick up the regional boxes A and B. You're going to have to play around with it. You're going to have to go into your eBay shipping settings and not shipping settings, but into your eBay shipment when you're shipping it out, and play around to see what's the price for the A, what's the price for the B. Usually the A is going to be cheaper if you could fit it in, I think, like every single time. But that's the key right there, just playing around. And let's go to some other pages. And guys, what's really cool is when you find these things, again, this is another one I would get right here. Here's the regional B. Just add it to your cart, and you can get a pack of 10 or a pack of 25, and they'll ship it right to your house, which is so cool. The worst thing is having a shipment and not being prepared. So that's really important. Regional A's, regional B. So there's two different sizes. So you remember how I showed you guys the medium flat rate? There was a more rectangular, thicker one, shorter, and then there was like the longer, thinner one. The same goes with the regional B boxes and the regional A boxes. There's two different sizes for each. So I would actually pick up both of those and just have them, maybe 10 each if you're just getting started. Here's a priority box that's just based on the weight. So you could grab a couple of these as well. Here's that large flat rate. So this is again going to be, I think this is like 15 or 16 or 17. The price has been going up, but this is a flat rate. So if you have something really big and really heavy and you're shipping it far away, it might make sense to use this because, you know, the regional boxes are going to be much more expensive. Here's another priority box. So if you're shipping something that is really thick and small, it might make sense to use this. Again, it's going to be shipped based upon the weight and the location. So if it doesn't say flat rate, it's going to be weight and location. It's the same with the regional A and B boxes. It's weight and location, but they're giving you a break based on if you're shipping it to a certain part of the country, which is usually something within close proximity to your region. Let's see. We're just going through here. Again, anytime you see a priority mailbox and it doesn't have flat rate, again, it's just going to be based upon the weight and location. Let's keep going. Nothing there. So hopefully this is giving you some ideas. Make sure, guys, after this video that you put an order in. It's 100% free. And also, if you handwrite your labels, which I don't recommend doing, you can order some of these as well. What I actually do is I use these adhesive labels. So if you type in like adhesive shipping label on eBay or Amazon, you can buy those, and when it prints out, you can just take the sticker off and slap it on your box, which is really cool. So I don't really order those. Here's a variety pack. Okay, so this is what I want to show you guys. This is called the Priority Mail Padded Flat Rate Envelope. You definitely want to pick some of these puppies up. Why? Because they're really stretchy. You can put clothing in there. You can put all different types of items in there, but this is one of my favorite items to ship, and it's flat rate. So I think it's like $6 and change. It depends if you're a top-rated seller or not, because you will get a discount as well. But this is a great envelope to have, and it's I don't know what it's made out of, but it's really stretchy. You can fit a lot. You could jam a lot in there. Definitely one of my favorites. Make sure you order a bunch of these guys. These are great right here. These are definitely great. If you're trying to avoid going with like a medium flat rate, or you're trying to avoid going with a regional A or B because it might come to like $7 or $8 or $9 or $10, this will keep you under that $7 mark. So this is perfect right here. This is like the in between of, it won't qualify for first class, and you don't want to get smacked with like that medium flat rate or the regional or just the straight up postage on a priority box. This is where you want to try to get it if you could fit it in. But a couple things you're gonna have to worry about is damaging the item. So if it's anything fragile, you're probably not going to want to put it in there, and then you're going to have the issue of making sure that you can actually fit it in the envelope. So that's just one thing to consider as well. I wouldn't recommend putting blazers and sport coats and suits in here. You know, I'm not gonna lie, I've jammed them in here before, but it's not the prettiest presentation. But definitely pick up some of those. I think that's mostly all the supplies that I pick up. Again, there's some other random priority boxes. Let's just see. There's a priority mail DVD box. I've never used that before. Let's see. More random priority boxes. Yeah, so that's pretty much it, guys. That's what you want to get. You want to get some of the random priority boxes. You want to get the regional A's and B's, both sizes. You want to get all of the flat rate boxes, all the various sizes. You want to get the padded flat rate envelope. And that's essentially it right there. Now, if you're shipping first class mail, which is anything that's 16 ounces or less, especially if you're a clothing seller or you're selling items that are non-fragile, I would pick up something called a poly bag, or well, it's more or less called a poly mailer, but I would get a poly bag as well, which is like the clear version of it. It's just nice for presentation. So just go on to eBay and type in poly bags. I've used the 10 by 13s, I've used the 9 by 12s, and if you're shipping something that's really big, you can look for sizes that are a bit bigger than that. But 9 by 12, 10 by 13, 12 and a half by 15 is a bit bigger. These are the best sizes right here. Just go through, check out the seller's feedback, make sure they've been around for a while, and that's where I get most of my poly bags. If you are an eBay seller, which obviously you are if you're watching this, and you have a store, you actually get some free shipping supplies. I highly recommend the eBay boxes. I don't know if eBay sells boxes on here. I think they might actually. Let me see. I think they do. Yeah, the eBay boxes are great. So some of these smaller boxes they're very light. The cardboard's very light, so you can actually get away with shipping first class if you're shipping a light item that's fragile, maybe like a hat or something like that, and you don't want to bend the brim or anything. Pick up these eBay boxes. These things are absolutely amazing. If you have an eBay store, you're going to get a credit every quarter, so definitely look into that. But eBay's boxes are absolutely amazing. I highly, highly recommend them, and they're really cheap as well. I mean, check this out. $23.99 for 100 of these boxes. $17.59 for 50. I mean, great deals on these eBay boxes right there. A couple other supplies that I would recommend is a shipping scale. You're definitely going to need a shipping scale. I have a Weighmax shipping scale. Let me see if I could find that. Shipping scale, Weighmax. And again, I apologize for the internet over here. It's super slow with the snowstorm that I have going on right now. Let's see. So I think this is the same one that I have right here, the Weighmax 2822. I think mine's a little different, but these Weighmaxes are really good. It's only $18.95, and you see this screen right here. You can actually pull this out, so it'll extend. It has like a little cable to it. So if your box is really big, you can get the weight. So you're definitely going to need to get this scale right here. This is the one that I use, but really any scale, just go through the reviews, make sure it's got some good reviews and people are saying good things about it. You can obviously go through and double check that. But you're going to need a shipping scale. You're going to need some shipping tape as well. So again, I've purchased shipping tape on Amazon as well. Just make sure that it's not super thin, because a lot of times it's so thin that when it falls off, you can't get the strip back up again. So that's one thing you're going to want to look into as well. I've picked up shipping tape at Walmart. Sometimes they have some good deals, but just go through here. I wouldn't recommend getting Scotch. I'd recommend getting an off-brand, something with good reviews. I don't know anything about this brand right here, but it's $12.99. It's got 1,300 reviews. A lot of times if you buy it in bulk, you can get like 5 or 6 of them. You can get a really good deal. So make sure you get some shipping tape. You're going to need that to make sure your boxes are secure and everything is handled nicely. Another thing I'd recommend as well is something called a box resizer. So if you're shipping anything that's like, say you've decided not to use a priority box and you want to ship it like FedEx, SmartPost, or UPS, or you're going to use a plain box. Say there's a lot of wiggle room in the box and you don't want to stuff it with newspapers and all this void fill. What you can do is buy a box resizer, and you can actually cut the box down. So if your box is too big, make it a bit smaller so it decreases the amount of dead space in the box, so it solidifies everything. So then the item doesn't have a lot of room to shake around, and it just keeps it more secure and safer. So I would highly recommend getting a box resizer. I think any of these will be good. Let's see, what else do you need? You're going to need a, the adhesive shipping labels. These are great to have. I highly recommend them. If you're wondering what printer I use, I'll share that with you in a moment. I use a Brother laser printer. But like this is perfect right here. These MF label half sheet adhesive shipping labels. Just make sure it has good reviews. And when you print it out, it'll only use one side, and then you just turn the thing around on your next one, and it'll print on the other side. But these are awesome. Big time saver right there. I mean, yeah, it only shaves off 10 seconds, but if you're shipping out 10, 20 items, over a month period, that could save you hours. So highly recommend getting some half sheet adhesive shipping labels. What printer do I use? I use a Brother laser printer. So there's a bunch of various ones that you can use to ship your items out. I think there's some good options that are under $100. If you're watching this video, I'm sure you go to garage sales and thrift stores. Just keep your eye out for Brother laser printers. I would look for the smaller ones. Like this one, the 2350, I've used that before. The 2300, that's really good as well. 2320, these are all good options. I would just keep to the smaller options. There are some that are a little more expensive, $183, monochrome and whatnot. It's not necessary. Just get one of these under $100. It works really, really well. So you have your scale, you have your shipping tape, you have your adhesive labels. You can stuff some of your things with newspapers. I wouldn't recommend going out and spending a bunch of money on void fill. It's not really necessary. Just use the box resizer to kind of break things down a little bit. And we talked about boxes and poly bags. So that's pretty much all you need. You're shipping your items from home. You're shipping through the eBay system. You're saving money. You're getting a bunch of free supplies off of USPS. If you're going to be shipping with any plain boxes, because maybe you want to save some money going through FedEx SmartPost, because if you're shipping anything that's really big and it's outside of any of the flat rates, priority is going to be really expensive if you're shipping far away. So I'd highly recommend looking into FedEx SmartPost. I believe it's like 7 to 10 days. It's a longer shipping option, so beware of that. It might upset some of your customers. But if you're shipping something really, really big and really heavy, just go on eBay, buy some boxes, or go dumpster diving behind some local small businesses, get some big boxes, 15 by 15s by 16s or whatever, and use your box resizer to fit it accordingly so you don't have to stuff it with a bunch of newspapers and stuff. And just look at the various pricing for FedEx SmartPost or UPS Ground. Typically SmartPost is going to be cheaper. If you're shipping really close by, a couple states over, you may be able to get away with priority with just a plain box and go based on straight postage. But those are some things to definitely consider right there. So that's a lot of the, preliminary stuff right there as a beginner, a lot of the things that are going to hold you back. Make sure you're shipping from home. Make sure you have the right supplies. Make sure you get yourself a nice shipping station. So I know a lot of you guys don't have a ton of room and space available. Do the best you can to make a nice little organized space. If you can, set up a table, have a place for your scale, have a place for all your boxes, have a nice organized station with your printer and all your adhesive labels and your tape and your box resizer and your packing materials. And try to stay as organized as possible, because I know it can become very overwhelming, especially when you're having to ship out 15, 20, 25 items. So try to organize a station, put some systems in place, keep improving upon it. So ask yourself questions like, what's the biggest challenge I'm dealing with? What's slowing me down the most? What's annoying me the most? And over time, create new systems, improve different things that you're doing, improve your station and whatnot. Try to streamline it as best as you can, and you'll definitely start to improve your shipping abilities, and it won't take as much time. So if you guys do have any more questions in regards to shipping on eBay, please put a question down below. I actually tried to do this video live because I know a lot of people had questions, but my internet was so slow today because of the snowstorm, it wouldn't allow me to. So I really highly encourage you guys to ask as many questions as possible. I'm here for you guys to help you out. And if I need to make any more videos to answer your questions, I will be happy to do that. So I just want to say thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this and found value in this video, be sure to like this video down below, leave a comment, ask a question. If you're not already a subscriber, be sure to subscribe, because I'm always putting out videos to answer your guys' questions and share tips and tricks and help you guys along your journey so you can build up your eBay business and make more money for your family and to improve your life. So I really appreciate you guys. Check out the first link down below, 100 amazing items to resell. That's a free guide that we've created. So if you're struggling to find items at thrift stores or garage sales, to flip on eBay, to scale your business, definitely download that. It's free. You can put it on your phone, and when you're out at thrift stores or garage sales, you can just scroll right through it, find those items, and flip them for a profit. So with that being said, guys, have an amazing day. Keep crushing it, and I will talk to you guys soon. Bye. Hey, what's going on, everybody? Steve here, Raiken Profit, RaikenProfit.com, enjoying a nice cup of bulletproof coffee. And I wanted to answer a question that I received recently, which is essentially, Steve, I've been reselling for about 30 days now, and I'm really struggling. I'm not making a lot of sales. I'm not making a lot of money. What should I do? Now, this is a common problem that a lot of people face. I know I dealt with this when I was first getting started. To be honest, it took me quite a while to start making money. And here's the thing. There's so many different things that you're going to need to learn how to do the right way. You're going to have to learn how to pick the right items. You might be getting into clothing and you might think to yourself, well, I saw a YouTube video, I saw a Facebook post where, I saw somebody sell a Ralph Lauren. Well, you're going to have to learn that not all Ralph Lauren items are going to sell for good money. There's, different sizes, there's different styles, patterns, materials. There's a big difference between a cashmere sweater and just a cotton sweater, right? Or a wool sweater when it comes to, selling Ralph Lauren sweaters and whatnot. And really any brand in general. So you got to learn, what are the right items to pick. Then you have to learn how to properly ship your items. You need to learn how to optimize your listings. That's huge right there. A listing that's not optimized can sell for 20-30% less. I'm talking, optimized pictures, optimized titles with keywords, a nice description, having all your business policies there, a good return policy, building up your feedback, learning how to set up a store and running sales. Those are things you're going to have to learn how to do. All these things are going to affect how much money you make. And then we have to talk about buying smart. Understanding your margins, how much money you're making, how much money could you spend on cost of goods, taking into consideration, the 9 to 10% fee that eBay is going to take, and then the 2.9% fee that PayPal is going to take, and then taxes and turning a profit. So all these things take time to learn. So if you're wondering, how long is it going to take until I start making money? It's really going to depend on how quick you're able to implement these things and do them the right way. So I really recommend, first and foremost, watching a bunch of free YouTube videos, joining a bunch of free Facebook groups, and learning what to buy, right? Learning what to buy and the right items that have a market and that have margins are going to be really, really important. And then it's just kind of step by step by step. So it can take you 2 months, 3 months, If you're, finding items around your house, maybe you've got an old Omega juicer, or you have a blender or a Vitamix, or you've got I've got an Amazon Alexa that I'm looking here. Maybe you want to sell it. Starting around your house and then, selling your stuff that doesn't cost you any money, it's going to put you in the green quite quickly. So that's definitely something I recommend if you don't have a lot of money, if you're on a small budget. Start selling items around your house, because then you can become cash flow positive. You can pay for those eBay insertion fees, and at the end of the day, after shipping and fees and everything, you've got some money to go out picking with. So it's going to take some time. For me, it took probably a couple months to really start making things work when I was selling on eBay. For me, I started on Craigslist, and I was following the Bonafide Hustler, and I was stalking his YouTube and his Facebook page, and I started flipping bicycles on Craigslist, which was great for me because while it was more work, I didn't have to deal with shipping, I didn't have to deal with taxes, it was all cash-based. I didn't have to really deal with optimizing listings. Essentially, I was just taking pictures on Craigslist and creating a title, Cannondale bicycle, 56 centimeters, and boom, it's up. And then you meet with the buyer or seller, however you're going about it, and you're done. So eBay is one of those things that definitely takes time. Spend time in the sold listings. If you're brand new, you should be spending bare minimum 30 to 60 minutes every single day going through the sold listings. So take out your laptop, right? Get yourself a nice cup of coffee and start digging deep into specific categories. For me, I started with clothing. So what I did is I actually started with dress shirts. So I started messing with items like the Territory Ahead, Pendleton, Ralph Lauren, Brooks Brothers, and I started learning about the various dress shirts that were selling well. And then eventually I learned about brands like CC Filson and Vineyard Vines and Southern Tide and all these awesome brands out there, Laurel Piana. So, research, spend time in the sold listings. That is a big, big one. Another thing, if you want to speed up the process of you making money in your eBay business, and let's just say that you're done, picking items out of your house, start going to these thrift stores. You've got to frequent these thrift stores consistently. Go often. Why? Because you're going to learn quite quickly what thrift stores have really good inventory, what thrift stores have opportunities within specific categories. You know, for example, where I live, the shoes are a bit more expensive versus my friend Tino, and where is he? He's in Texas. I know he can get his shoes for $3, $4, $5. So your market is going to dictate a lot of your opportunities. You might not be able to even mess with thrift stores. You might live in an area where there isn't a lot. So you might have to rely on garage sales to get your inventory. Or you might have to rely on, who knows, drop shipping, I don't know, or online arbitrage. So it's a tough question to answer. How long is it going to take to start making money? You know, I'm struggling. I'm having a hard time, you know, making money in my eBay business. Listen, it's a process. There's no magic pill, unfortunately, and it takes time. But like I said, I'm going to recap again. Get really, really good at learning what items to pick, and then step by step, start learning how to optimize the process. Optimizing your listings, getting better photography, you know, getting some photography lights. You get them on eBay for, you know, $40, $50. You know, if you're selling clothing, get yourself a nice mannequin. If you're selling shoes, get one of those little, I forget what they're called, but these little shoe stands that you put it on. Or if you're selling hats, you get one of those little, like those little heads that you could put the hat on. It just makes it look better. It optimizes your listing, helps you stand out, you know. Learning how to price effectively. There's so many different things. So, you know, a lot of people, they look at an eBay business and they're like, you know, that's not a real business, and, you know, that's easy. You know, you're just buying items and putting it on there and it's done. No, there's so many steps to the process, especially if you want to turn it into a real business and have income coming in every single week, every single month, making a consistent thing. You've got to have that system optimized. So, you know, at the end of the day, guys, just learn every day. Have a goal. How can I learn what to buy? How can I optimize a part of the process? And slowly but surely, and hopefully you're networking as well. That is big. I know I'm going all over the place right now because this is just literally an unscripted video, but networking is huge. Get in those Facebook groups. You know, start a YouTube channel. Biggest mistake I see a lot of new sellers making, especially if you have like a strong personality and you don't mind, like, you're not shy, you don't mind getting on camera, because I know it's not for everybody, but if you've got a strong personality and you're not shy, get on YouTube. Why? Because you're going to be adding value to people. And when you add value to others, kind of like this video right here, it attracts people to you. And guess what? They want to help you. They want to give you tips. They want to give you advice. And, you know, two minds are definitely stronger than one. So start a YouTube channel. Start sharing, you know, haul videos. Start sharing mistakes that you made. Start sharing steps of the journey that you're on. And you'll be so surprised how fast your business starts to take off. How fast you'll go from 100 a month to 500 a month to 15 to 3,000. Listen, you know, at the Connecticut meetup, I was with my buddy Greg, the valet picker, and I remember it wasn't long ago, maybe a year and a half ago. He was part-time and he was driving as a valet driver. He's got a YouTube channel, Greg the Valet Picker. So he was a valet driver, and you know, I know he was making a bit of money on eBay. I wasn't sure how much, but he kept learning, he kept grinding. He was working his 9 to 5, but he kept learning on the side, kept grinding, kept optimizing, kept building his inventory, and slowly but surely, he was able to quit his job, and now he earns a full-time income on eBay. He's got his freedom. I mean, he gets to just go wherever he wants. All his bills are paid. He's living good, able to save money, and just, you know, going on treasure hunts every day. So I know that's not for everybody, but that's pretty cool. That is, he's his own boss now, and he doesn't have to work for anybody, and he's been able to literally go from making a couple $100 to now well over a couple $1,000s a month. I'm not going to say his exact numbers, but he's making a full-time income and he's doing great. So, yeah, go out there, make it happen. There's thousands of other people who have already taken this path before you. So just model success, as Tony Robbins says. You don't have to reinvent the wheel. Start watching some YouTube channels like this one. Find one or two that you really like. It doesn't have to be mine. And just start really diving deep into their content and understanding, what did they do? What's their story? How did they go from nothing to something, from 1,000 to 5,000, or from 500 to 1,500. What did they do? What did they buy? And just model exactly what they do. Obviously, you could put a little, you know, you could put a little something of your own onto it and spice it up. But, you know, model success. It's already been done. So with that being said, guys, hopefully this video kind of served you with some type of inspiration. I know it was all over the place, but I really enjoy doing these unscripted, just unfiltered, just kind of shooting off the top of the dome and helping you guys out and adding as much value as possible, because you can do it. The possibilities are endless. The opportunities are endless. And once you start your eBay business and have success, it may lead to something better for you. Hey, what's going on everybody on YouTube? Steve here, Raiken Profit. This video is for beginners on eBay, and I want to give you 5 tips to make your first $1,000 on eBay. I've been selling on eBay for about 5 years now, and I've learned a ton. I've made a lot of mistakes, and I want to share with you 5 things that are really going to help you to get moving, to get you growing, and to make that first $1,000. So without further ado, let's dive right into it. Tip number 1, make sure that you lift your selling limits. And what that means is when you're brand new and you haven't really done any business on eBay, eBay is going to put selling limits on you. They're only going to allow you to sell a certain amount of items and a certain dollar amount worth of items as well. So essentially what that means is it's going to take some time for you to prove yourself in the eyes of eBay until they lift your selling limits. Now, what you can do is you actually call eBay after about 30, 45 days. Once you've listed, you know, the max amount of items that you've listed. I'm not sure what the number is at this moment. It's always changing, it seems like. But hit whatever limit that is, create and conduct good business, and then give eBay a call and say, hey, listen, this is what I've done. You know, I've got good feedback. I've shipped everything on time. I've provided good customer service. Can you lift my selling limits? And I think there's a way that you could actually do it just automatically through your seller account. But I've had a lot of success just calling them, talking to them. Sometimes they'll ask you questions like, you know, what type of items are you selling? What are your goals? Where are you getting your items from? And as long as you could explain yourself, a lot of times they'll lift that up. But get your selling limits lifted as soon as you can, because as we progress in this video, you're gonna know why. But the key is really listing more items, but we'll get to that. Number 2, like I said, list a lot of items. But not only list a lot of items, list every single day if you can. I found from my experience that I've actually had more success, and I don't know if it's all in my head or not, but I've had more success listing every single day and getting, you know, 5, 10 items up every day versus listing like 30 items in one day and only doing that once a week. I think eBay just rewards sellers for being consistent, for consistently putting out new listings and providing business for their customers. So list every single day if you can. If you can't do that, you might even want to consider scheduling out your listings as well, which I know it does cost a little bit of money, but that might be a good option for you. But just list a lot, list as much as you possibly can. That's really what I want you to get out of this tip right here. List, 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 list. Create a listing routine, create a schedule, create a habit. You know, when I had first gotten started selling on eBay and I was doing it full time, and I was still living at home with my parents. This was like 3 or 4 years ago, and I didn't need to make a ton of money. But at that point, listing 10 items a day with the items that I was listing, I was selling like higher end clothing, men's clothing. I was actually able to hit my goal, and I was making a couple $1,000s a month, which was enough for me at the time. I didn't have many bills, but that was my goal. Every single day I would wake up in the morning, I would get my mannequin ready. I actually had a hanging mannequin. I used to hang it on the wall, used to get my camera ready, used to get the 10 items ready, bring it into the living room, and I would list my 10 items. I would photograph and get all my items ready, and then I would go on the computer and list them. But that was my routine, that was my habit. 10 items a day, 5 days a week. That was it. So figure out, you know, based on like reverse engineer, okay, here's my goal. I want to hit $1,000 this month. I've got to list this many items at an average selling price of this. Just think through it, but you can do it. Create a listing routine. Number 3, invest in a store as soon as you can. And there's a lot of benefits to having an eBay store. I'm not going to go through all of them in this video, but the biggest benefit to having a store is you can actually run sales, right? You can go through the markdown manager, that's what it's called, and you could run a sale on your store. And this is magical. It is powerful. If you're having slow sales, things aren't moving, or you just want to boost the velocity of sales in your store, run a sale. It could be 5%, 10%, 15%. I typically am running sales all the time. So that's one of the biggest benefits to having a store. Now it is going to cost you some money, 15, 20 bucks a month. But run sales. I hear people complaining all the time. My sales are slow on eBay. What do I do? Run sales, right? Run sales. It's really important. Number 4, one of the biggest mistakes I've seen people make who want to make their first $500, first $1,000 a month, or just start having success is they're focusing on the wrong items. Problem number 1 is the profit margins are just too low. So when it sells, it's not really worth their time, right? They'd be better off literally going to a minimum wage job. So that's problem number 1. And problem number 2 is there's not a big enough market for it. And what I mean by that is, think of like, I don't have an example. I was looking, oh, here they are right here. Think of like these Apple AirPods right here. I could go onto eBay and these things are probably selling like all day long because Apple, it has a huge market. There's a huge following. People love Apple. There's tons of people looking for it, right? So not only is that going to keep the price up, but it's also going to keep the sales velocity up as well. That's an example of something that has a market. Now think of something like, this is such a bad example, chapstick, I don't know. Think of something though, maybe it's a clothing item or a clothing brand or a certain type of chapstick. Yeah, I just went there. Maybe it's not that popular. Maybe people don't know that brand, or maybe it's just not selling a lot on eBay. You can go onto eBay and check the sold listings to see how much the item's selling for, how many are selling per day. But it's really important that not only the profit margins are there, but there's a market for it. So do your research before you start listing items on eBay to make sure it's actually, one, selling for a good enough profit, and number two, it's actually selling, right? I've seen so many people list up 100, 200, 300 items and they're not selling, and they're running sales, they're priced competitively, they're taking great pictures, and they're like, Steve, why aren't my items selling? Because nobody wants your items. Like, you've got to focus on good products. So that's really important. And number 5, this probably is the biggest thing that holds people back from making their first $1,000, is they just get discouraged too quickly. They don't like the fact that they have to put in some hard work to get their selling limits raised. They have a hard time building a routine and getting into that consistency of listing 5 items, 10 items a day. You know, they're running sales, things just aren't selling, they don't get it. It's because they're not choosing the right products, and maybe their items are selling, but it's not selling for enough money, because it takes time. It's a learning curve to figure out what to sell and how to take great pictures and keyword research and, you know, listing on your phone and creating efficiencies. It just takes time. So, you know, the biggest mistake and the tip is, don't get discouraged. Hang in there. Surround yourself with positive people. There's a huge community on YouTube of amazing eBay resellers sharing content. There's tons of free Facebook groups. There's all different types of you know, pieces of content and information out there that can help you. So surround yourself with people who are already having success. Don't give up. Don't quit. Keep pushing forward every single day. Keep trying to grow 1%. It's all about the slight edge. It's all about, you know, moving ahead 1% each day, and just don't give up. Don't quit. There are going to be times on eBay when things just suck. They just do. Things just aren't selling. You might even have great products. You might be running a sale. You might have great feedback in your store, and things just don't sell. Like, that's one known fact about eBay, is it's always like this. It's always like that. You can ask the top sellers who are on eBay, and then you can ask the beginners. It's part of the game, and it kind of drives me crazy to an extent, because I have a lot of friends who sell on eBay, just personal ones, even off of YouTube, and they're always complaining, like periodically, like maybe every, I don't know, once a quarter, there's like a period where they're like, oh, my eBay sales suck, like I don't get it, eBay sucks, like I don't know if this is for me. And then like a month or two later, things are going great and they're like on a high. So it's like, eBay, you're like on top, or like you're on the bottom. It just never seems to be like, I don't know. But that just might be me overthinking things. But, you know, don't get discouraged. Just don't. That's business. That's entrepreneurship 101. Hang in there, go make it happen, and you will make your first $1,000 on eBay. So with that being said, guys, I want to appreciate you all for watching this video. If you like this video, like, comment, and subscribe, and I look forward to seeing you guys in the next video. Take care. Bye. What's happening, everybody on YouTube? Steve here, Raiken Profit, RaikenProfit.com, coming back to you with another live video. I'm having a fantastic day today so far, and hopefully you are as well. Received a really awesome comment on my YouTube channel. It was in one of my last live videos, and they had put out a post pretty much talking about the wrong way to price your items on eBay, and they made a bunch of good points. So I'm actually going to rehash some of the things that they had mentioned in the comments and throw my 2 cents onto it as well. But here's the honest truth. Most people, especially beginners who are selling on eBay, they're pricing their items the wrong way on eBay. This is something you need to really learn how to do. Price your items the right way, because if you price your items the wrong way, it doesn't matter how good of pictures you take, listing description, you've got your shipping station set up, your inventory management, you're going out sourcing a bunch of items. If you get this wrong, man, you're gonna have a tough time. What's going on, Jameson? Good to see you, Susie. Yeah, I know I got the light beams shooting down at me. Let me see if I can angle this a little better. All right, maybe that's a little bit better right there. I apologize about that. But you want to learn how to price your items the right way, not the wrong way, okay? So the wrong way to price your items on eBay, and this is what a lot of beginners do, is they just guess. Yeah, they just guess. They say to themselves, well, this is a cool item. Maybe it's a Ralph Lauren polo shirt. They said, this is cool. You know, it's a Ralph Lauren polo. At the store, they're selling for $79.99 new. This is used, so I'll put it up for $59.99. That's the wrong way. You're just 100% guessing, right? So that's one of the incorrect ways to do it. The more sophisticated yet still wrong way to price your items on eBay is, and let me dive right into it, is looking at the sold listings and just like taking a quick peek. So for example, maybe you're selling a Ralph Lauren polo shirt and you type that in and you hit sold listings and you see a couple that sold for 50 and you're like, boom, okay, that's what it's worth, $50. You need to dive in a little deeper, investigate a little bit more, because just looking at the sold listings isn't going to tell you the complete story. So the first thing you want to do is take a look at the sold listings. So if you go into your eBay app on your phone, which if you're out in the field sourcing clothing or shoes or whatever it is you're sourcing to sell on eBay, make sure you have the eBay app on your phone. You can click the sold listings and look, but take a better look at the sold listings to see a complete story, right? So some of the things that you're going to want to do when you're looking through the sold listings is, number one, dates of sales. So maybe, for example, that Ralph Lauren shirt, you see that maybe it's a specific one with a specific embroidery. Maybe that specific item sold for 50 bucks, but it sold 7 months ago and there's no other sales that are comparable. That's going to be a little rough. Whereas what if you saw that same item sold 4, 5, 6, 7 times in the last month? The frequency of sale, the relevancy of sale, and the date of last sale are very important factors to consider when you're looking through the sold listings. So don't just look at the sold listings and take a quick snapshot. It's okay if you're paying 50 cents or $1. And especially if you're a veteran and you've been in the game for as long as I have or other sellers, you don't have to go as in-depth with this whole entire process. But this video is really for that beginner, for that newbie, for that person who's just kind of diving in. Because once you are in the game for a little bit of time, 3, 6, 9 months, you don't have to go as deep. So I just want to put that out there. But check the sold listings for how many sales are happening in the last 30 days, right? What's the frequency of sales? What's the relevancy of sales? All because a Ralph Lauren item sold 10 times, it might be a completely different style or embroidery or pattern or size. You've got to really dive deep into the item specifics and find a comparable sale. In real estate, right? A lot of real estate agents will list single family homes based on comparable sales that have a 3-bedroom, 1-bath, similar square footage. Maybe it has a big backyard. Maybe it's within proximity of a school. So the more item specifics that you can match up to the sales, the better that you're going to be able to do at determining the value. Another great thing that you can do is check the completed listings. The completed listing is going to give you a little bit better story of the market demand. How many items have been listed and haven't sold? So if you see the green sales, that means the item is sold. If you see it in red, you know that it hasn't sold. So maybe a lot of these items are being listed, but maybe a lot of them aren't selling. So by checking the sold listings, you can get a big picture of how many listings are being completed versus how many are actually selling and not selling. Maybe they're consistently becoming or getting relisted. So you can also check the completed listings, especially when you're new or if you're dealing with a specific rare, maybe higher end item where it's a little riskier. Check the solds. Susie Beach is saying, yes, check the solds. So to recap so far, check the sold listings, but dive deep. Find comparable sales. Match up as many item specifics as you can. Make sure that the date of sale is something that's been in within the last 30 days or so. There's nothing wrong with going with a longer tail item, but just remember, if you're investing $5 into an item that's going to sell for 60 or 70, it doesn't necessarily have to sell every month. Maybe it sells a couple times every quarter, but you want to make sure the profit margins are up longer tail, when you're dealing with longer tail items. You can take less of a profit if that market demand is there and these items are selling really quickly, right? Just minimizes risk. When's the last date of sale? Check the completed listings. Are a lot of items being listed and not sold? Another great tip that this person left is check the shipping prices. Sometimes the prices of items will be really high because they're big and heavy and there's no shipping, like it's free shipping because it's maybe local pickup. So definitely make sure that these items that you're comparing are, you know, direct, you know, seller to buyer shipment versus a local pickup, because you might see all these items selling for 180 bucks, but it's local pickup, whereas most of them are really only selling for 110, but they're, you know, they're shipping it out for $50 or $60. So that's another great tip right there. Quality of listing is going to determine the value as well. Maybe you're noticing that this one specific shoe is selling for 25 to 30, 80% of them, but then you see the other 20% are selling for 60. Why? Dive into that. Maybe it's because the sellers are taking great pictures. Maybe because those sellers are taking awesome descriptions and they're listing all the measurements and all the identifiers that a customer would need. Maybe these sellers that are into 20% have great feedback. Most of the time it's going to be picture quality and a description. Those are going to be big determinants in the value of an item, because again, consumers want to have all the information in one place before they make that buying decision. So giving all the measurements, item description, if there's any issues with it in the description, alongside with a you know, a whole plethora of high quality multi-angle pictures, that's going to really help out big time right there. So that's another tip. And overall, at the end of the day, after you do all of this, and again, if you're new, you're going to want to go through this process. But if you're like myself, or you've been in the game for a year, 6 months, you don't have to like beat a dead horse and go through every step, because you kind of feel it out with your intuition. But you want to be somewhat conservative with your estimates of value, right? If the market is dictating a price anywhere between 50 to 100, but 80% of the market is going between like 50 to 70, and then maybe the other 20% is like 70 to $100. Be conservative. Don't say, oh, it's going to sell for 100, especially if you're new, especially if you don't have the greatest, you know, photography setup, nice looking backdrop. If you're new, I would, you know, say maybe it's worth 60, maybe it's worth 55 or 70. And if it sells for more, then great. But especially when you're new, you know, you want to build in some padding for mistakes, for shipping errors, so on and so forth. So I'd be curious to know, what other tips do you have for eBay sellers pricing their items correctly? I would love to shout out who left this comment. I actually posted this on my Instagram as well because I thought it was so insightful. So I want to credit whoever that is who left that comment on my YouTube. I also posted on Instagram, so big shout out to you. I'd credit your name if I remembered it. I apologize about that, but I thought that was a really insightful comment, and I just wanted to elaborate a little more on it. If you guys enjoyed this video, do me a big favor and smash that like button. We got 113 people watching live. I think we can hit 100 likes right now. I'm fairly confident we can hit 100 likes. Looks like we got Gabriella in the house. Liquidation OH. If you guys aren't following Liquidation OH, be sure to give him a follow. He's been really crushing it on the live videos lately. Big shout out to Liquidation OH. Good to see you, DJ. Yeah, pictures are worth 1,000 words. They really help out a lot. Definitely being new makes a huge difference. I have to post 25% lower because I only have 45 feedback. I don't think that you really have to lower your prices by 25% if you have 45 feedback. I think that's perfectly fine. I would price competitively with 45 feedback. I would focus on creating really clean, crisp, distraction-free pictures, making sure you fill out 8 to 12 pictures, especially if you're dealing with clothing or shoes. Make sure you have a solid return policy, maybe 1-day business turnover shipping. You know, I think 45 feedback is good. I don't think it's going to hurt you that much compared to like 0 to 5 feedback. That's when people kind of get a little more sketched out. Tom Hardy says, I'm listing and listening. That's awesome. How many items are you guys or girls planning on listing today? I want to know, how many items are you going to be listing today, and how long is it going to take you? We got Adam Christie in the house. Yeah, I just got done meeting with my last real estate agent that I've been interviewing. So I interviewed about 5 or 6 agents this week. And I think I know the one that I'm going to pick. So I'm pretty excited about it. Been learning so much about real estate. Going to be getting into a 3 or a 4 family multi property. So really excited about that. Having a lot of fun. You know, over the years, I've learned, you guys have seen my journey. You know, I've learned how to make money, right? Making really good money right now with all the different businesses. You know, I come from a Jewish family, so I've always been good at, you know, saving money. So I've learned how to save money, how to, you know, budget my money, how to grow my money. But I haven't learned really how to truly invest my money. And I'm looking to take that next step right now with real estate. So it's just been a really fun journey learning so far. Robert says, did 20 listings. That's awesome. The House of Mini Trucks. That's the greatest name ever. Good to see you here again. Shooting for 5 listings today. You know, if your sales are slow, if you feel like you're in a slump, maybe you're seeing that downward trend, best advice is list. Go into your death pile. We all have a death pile, and there's typically the 20% cream of the crop in that death pile, and then there's like 80% of junk a lot of times. Go list that cream of the crop right now, and then start, you know, digging into some of those items that maybe are selling for 15 or 20 bucks. Start listing that death pile. The best way to beat slow sales is to list. Now, it's kind of like going on a diet, right? You might be eating healthy this week and you might not be seeing the results, but a lot of times a couple days later, your stomach's less bloated, a couple pounds dropped off, you know, you're eliminating all the salt, so you're eliminating and excreting a lot of the water. So maybe a week later, you feel the benefits of eating healthy the week before. It's the same thing with an eBay business. You might list really hard this week and sales still might be slow, but the next week it's going to catch up. It always happens like that. So the best way to beat slow sales is to list. Also make sure that you're listing quality items. You can list all day long, but if you're selling a bunch of junk in the trunk, things aren't going to be selling. So DJ says 3/4 of my 2-car garage is my death pile. Oh man, DJ, you really got to get listing. Digit Course says you are a great inspiration to everyone. Hey, I appreciate that, Digit Course. Thanks so much for watching and for the kind comments. DJ says I'm working on it. Create a listing goal every single day. Just every single day, list 5 or 10 items. Antonio asks, should you use stock photos? I don't use stock photos. I think that customers, maybe it depends on the item that you're listing, but I think customers trust real photographs versus a stock photo. It's always easy to tell the difference. And if I see a stock photo, my first reaction is like, is this a scammer or is this some crap from China? That's my first reaction. Is this going to be what it actually is? So I think that's why, you know, eBay is like such a firm believer in, you know, taking pictures. It's important. How many passive incomes do you have? I don't know my total right now. Off the top, probably, well, passive, probably like 3 or 4 passive ones. Obviously Amazon and eBay and local selling isn't passive at all, but you know, I've got my Kindle publishing business, affiliate marketing, YouTube channel. Shopify is semi-passive once I get the ads converting and whatnot, and various products that I sell and stuff. But Amazon FBA is somewhat passive once you get all the items shipped off. You could kind of chill out for a little bit, but if you take your foot off the pedal for too long, the sales start to slowly dwindle down, right? So it's kind of the way it is. The same thing with YouTube as well. Like in terms of my YouTube ad revenue, if I stop putting out videos, the ad revenue will slowly start to go down. Now it's not huge money. It's good. It's a couple $1,000 or more a month. So it's not like I'm relying on it, but you know, to keep the AdSense revenue going, you got to keep putting out more videos. The same thing with Shopify as well. If I'm not consistently launching new advertisements and sending out emails through my, you know, through ConvertKit and whatnot, and launching new products, it'll slowly go down. With eBay and Amazon, it's the same thing. So I think a lot of people have a misconception about what is truly passive. For me, I'll define something as passive to the point where like I could walk away from it for a little bit of time and it won't like completely drop to nothing, but you have to constantly go back and nurture it and water that plant so it continues to grow or at least maintain it. So It looks like I got these heavenly lights coming back down again. So yeah, if you guys are enjoying this, be sure to hit that like button. If you go over to raikenprofit.com/question, raikenprofit.com/question, you could fill out a form and ask me a question. And I'm going to be featuring some of my subscribers on my channel by answering their question, shouting out their full name or their social media profile or whatnot, and answering questions live on YouTube. So check that out, raikenprofit.com/question. If you have any questions that you would like me to answer live on YouTube. But yeah, today's gonna be a great day. Hopefully you guys have an amazing day. Appreciate all the love. Thanks for all the likes. Looks like everyone's smashing that like button right now. If you have a question, hit me up over there. Oh, Georgia Bound with a $5 super chat coming to the rescue. You are such a great inspiration to so many of us small-time sellers. Hey, you know what? When it comes to eBay and Amazon, I'm a small-time seller as well. I'm not a huge seller. Some people think, oh, you got a YouTube channel, you're some big hotshot. I've never claimed to be a big hotshot. I just do what I do. I have a lot of fun. I enjoy getting outside and spending time with my mom and my family, and, not trying to make $20 million a year. Nothing wrong with it. Maybe I know one day I'll be a millionaire, but I'm just slowly chipping away, enjoying life, tasting different businesses, and traveling, and having a lot of fun. So I appreciate that. I'm a small seller as well, and I try to add as much value as I can. And if I don't know the answer, I'll bring somebody on and interview them. 7 tips to increase sales on eBay. You're probably watching this video because you sell on eBay, but you might not be happy with your results. You want to make more sales. So how can you do that? Well, I can tell you right now, guys, I have some really good tips for you. I've been selling on eBay for over 5 years. If it wasn't for eBay, I'd probably still be working at my crappy job, delivering pizzas and serving tables. So let me share with you guys these 7 tips, and I think they're really gonna help you in your business. Tip number 1, list more items. I know it's obvious, but I can't tell you how many people I talk to who have huge death piles. What is a death pile? Well, essentially it's a pile of items that you purchased with the intent to resell, but for one reason or another, you procrastinated or there was an issue with the item, and it's like a pile of just death that keeps stacking up. List more items. Get in the habit, in the routine of listing, whether it's 5 items a day, 10 items a day. Get into a listing routine. The more you list, the more opportunities you're gonna have available for someone to buy, and that's gonna be more money in your pocket. So, tip number 2 to increase sales is create a niche store. So I've never really been huge into this. I'm gonna be just kind of talking in theory. I've heard of people having a lot of success creating niche or niche stores. So essentially, for example, if you're selling men's clothing, you might want to create a store all about clothing. Or maybe if you're selling video games, focus on only video games. Why would you do that? Because it's gonna help you with repeat customers. Someone might come to your store and have a great experience buying a certain vintage clothing item or a certain, video game, and they might favorite you and come back. So creating a niche store may or may not help you. I don't personally have a ton of experience with it. I do have a niche store, but I kind of just dabble in it, and I haven't really noticed a huge difference, but that's definitely something to consider. Number 3, promoted listings. Promoted listings is kind of like the pay-per-click version of like Google AdWords, or even Amazon. They have a pay-per-click program. But promoted listings, you pay a certain percentage of your sale, and what they do is they boost your search visibility for your specific item. So the more people that can see your item, essentially the better chance you have of selling it. Now, I haven't had amazing results with this. The program is somewhat new. When they had first started the program, it was for multi-quantity items only, and now they have opened it up to pretty much all the items. I've been playing around with it, haven't had a ton of great results. Some of my buddies who are full-time resellers on eBay and sell a lot more than I do, they've kind of had mixed feelings with it as well. But if you're watching this, a couple months down the road, or maybe a couple of years down the road, it probably is going to be a lot better. So promoted listings is definitely something to look into to increase sales. Number 4, this is a really, really important one, guys, right here. This has been proven to work for years prior, and it's going to work for years moving forward, and that's providing really good customer service. One of the biggest things you've got to do is, if people are emailing you and they're asking you questions like, hey, what's the chest measurement of that American Eagle shirt, or hey, is this compatible with that, get back to your emails. And one step further, get back to your emails quickly. If you get back within 30 to 60 minutes, your conversions are going to go through the roof. Every hour, every day that you wait, and don't answer them, there's probably a better chance that you're gonna lose out on that sale. They're gonna go to somebody else, they're gonna find another product, or just go to a retail store. So provide really good customer service, but more specifically, get into those emails that people are sending you, set up alerts on your phone if you can, or just check eBay a couple times a day and answer your customers' questions. It's gonna help you to make so many more sales in your business. Number 5, this is huge, guys. Improve your photography. One thing I would recommend getting is some photography lights. So if you're wondering how the light is so good in this video when like the lights are off right here, it's because I actually have some umbrella lights pointed at 90-degree angles on me, and it really helps to create you know, a high quality image in a good video. But on eBay, get a nice little setup if you can. Make sure that the lights are the same. Don't have like bright yellow lights and then daytime bulbs. Like, it's gonna be conflicting. So have really, really nice pictures. Right now, I take pictures with my phone. I have an iPhone 6S Plus and it comes out great. You don't need to get a real fancy DSLR camera or a Canon G7X, but make sure the lighting is really, really good. The camera is not as important as the lighting, plus make sure that it's distraction free. Don't have a ton of things in the background, kids running around, dirt all over the carpet, and then you're like laying your shirt down taking a picture. Photography is really key. Go on eBay, go on Amazon, get a lighting kit, a photography lighting kit. Make sure you have a distraction-free background, and it's gonna help out so much. Number 6, to increase your sales. This is a big, big tip, guys, and this has worked in the past, and it's gonna continue to work in the future, is ship your items quickly. And also, in terms of how you ship, I would really try to focus on priority if you can. Going to some of those slower shipping methods like parcel, it just creates a bad experience for the customer because it's gonna show a prolonged date on the little tab underneath like the price in terms of when they're gonna receive it, and they're probably gonna pass on your item. You know, 1-day handling time if you can, and providing a really fast shipping service like priority. You know, if you're gonna do first class, I would definitely go that route just because it's gonna be cheaper, but first class priority works well. But you know, anything else that's, you know, 5, 6, 7 days, it's gonna really, really hurt your sales. So that's a big one right there. And tip number 7 to increase your sales when selling on eBay is focus on items that have a market. What exactly does that mean? Focus on buying and selling items that people are actually interested in purchasing, right? So, you know, an item that sells quick would have a big market. Something that sells really slow is what we like to call a long tail. It's something that, you know, maybe somebody buys once a month or once every 3 months. And there's nothing wrong with definitely putting some long tail items within your inventory and selling those and having items you pay $3, $4 for that sell for 60, 70, 80 bucks. Like, one of my favorite items to sell are blazers, sport coats, and suits. But I wouldn't create my whole entire store based around it unless I have like a lot of opportunities in my area, because they're really slow sellers. But when they pop hard. How do you know if something has a market? Go onto eBay and search the sold listings. On the left-hand side, there's gonna be a tab. Hit sold listings, and then you could also edit the price range. So maybe you could search sold listings, 20 to 40 bucks, and start to get a feeling for what's selling all the time, what's selling rapidly, what's selling for a good price. You're gonna start to see similar brands, certain items that sell on a regular basis. Those are the items that you wanna focus on, or else you're gonna have a ton of items in your store that never sell. So I would sprinkle in the long tail with the quick selling, and it's gonna help you so much in your business. So with that being said, guys, hopefully this video helped you and served you to increase your sales on eBay. To recap really quick, tip number 1, list more items. Kill those death piles. Tip number 2, create a niche store. This is kind of theory. I don't know if it works or not, but I've heard some people say that it works. But again, I don't have a ton of experience with that. Number 3, experiment with promoted listings on eBay to increase your rank and your search visibility. Tip number 4, answer all your emails that are coming through from customers. That'll definitely increase conversions. Tip number 5, invest in your photography. It's really important on eBay. When people are scrolling through, if they see a really nice picture, they're gonna click, but if it looks crappy, dark, doesn't look that nice, they're not gonna click, they're gonna go to your competition. Tip number 6, ship quickly, 1-day handling time, fast shipping priority, focus on that. And tip number 7, focus on items that have a market. So with that being said, guys, if you enjoyed this video, be sure to smash that like button down below. If you wanna check out our free guide right here, it's called 100 Amazing Items to Resell. Download that. It's 100% free. That'll definitely get you moving in the right direction in terms of items that have a really good market that sell on a regular basis. And yeah, subscribe to this channel. So many people watch this channel and don't subscribe. Subscribe right down below. Hit the bell notification so you get notified when these videos go live. And I'll tell you guys right now, keep crushing it. 2018 is your year, and I'm looking forward to talking to you guys in the next video. Peace. Hey, what's happening YouTube? It's Steve with Raiken Profit, coming back to you with another sales update video. Today's video I want to show you some of the items that I've sold over the last few days. Of course, in hopes to be able to help you, to be able to recognize items, to be able to go out to the thrift stores and whatnot, and buy some cool stuff and make some money. But before we get into the sales update, I want to ask you, if you haven't already subscribed to my channel, hit the subscribe button that's on the screen right now. And if you find these videos helpful, please hit the like button. With that being said, let's jump right into today's sales update video and get you guys on the path to making some money selling clothing. First item I want to show you is a Brooks Brothers dress shirt, non-iron. This is a 1818 made in Malaysia, traditional fit. Very nice shirt. It's got regular cuffs, spread collar. Paid $5 for this and sold this for $22. Next item is Patagonia. And like I was saying in my last video, if you haven't checked it out, hit the link on the screen to my last video, to my haul video. But this is a Patagonia and it only sold for $20. Usually if I have a Patagonia, I could get at least $35 to $45 for it. Especially if it's the T-snap one. But this is a 1/4 zipper Patagonia, and as you can see, there's no name on it. You don't see the logo on it. And this sat in my closet probably for 2 months, and it really wasn't selling that well. Eventually it did sell yesterday for $22, which isn't that much for a Patagonia. So make sure if you get the Patagonias, find it with the name on the front. Next sale is a pretty lousy sale. This is a brand called Urban Pipeline Up. I bought this a few months ago when I was experimenting with brands, trying to figure out what sells and what doesn't. It's actually new with tags, and I only paid like $1.50 for it on a half off day at Goodwill. But it just wasn't selling, so I just took an offer, sold it for $8. Probably only made about $1 on it. Here's another Patagonia. You can see the label right there. And as you can see, there's no name on the front. I mean, if you look really close at the buttons, there's the name on it. But if you don't have the name on these Patagonias, they just don't sell as well. I paid $5 for this at a Salvation Army, and it did sell for $42. But if it had the name on it, I'd probably get more like $60 or $70 for a big jacket like this. A lot of Patagonias going on lately. Here's a Patagonia, a beautiful one. I showed this to you in my last clothing haul video. And it's funny, right after I shot the video, this thing sold. It sold for $90. It does have the name right here, which is very good. Full zipper. It's kind of like a fur feel to it. One of the newer Patagonias and just in high demand. $90 paid. I think I paid $8 for that. So that was a beautiful score. Keep your eye out for Patagonia. Alright, here is a Harrison tweed blazer. 100% wool. Just has the regular buttons on it. If you find the wood buttons, it's better. And also look for the Harrison tweed blazers that have the leather elbow patch. Shout out to Coco Army for putting me onto this brand. I've already sold a few of these, and you could get them for like $2 or $3 at the Salvation Army. And they sell between $40 and $60. This one sold for $45. Next item is a Brooks Brothers polo long sleeve. Keep an eye out for that logo right there, as I've been talking about. Original fit, 100% cotton, performance polo, long sleeve, striped. Very nice. Paid $3 to $5 for this, I'm sure. Probably more around $3, and sold this for $17. Next item is a North Face fleece. Showed this to you in my last sales update, or my last clothing haul. Sold real quick. North Face, very popular. Everybody's wearing it. You're probably wearing North Face right now. But paid $2 or $3.99 on this and sold for $25. If it was a more thicker material, the bigger ones with the kind of the mesh on it, full zippers, thicker material, they go for more, probably more like $40 or $50. But $25 on $3, can't go wrong with that. Very nice sale. Here's another good brand, polo. Extra large Lacoste. It's the vintage one. And striped, 100% cotton, very nice. Paid $2 or $3.99 in this, I'm sure. And sold this for $22, I believe. Maybe a little less, something around there. Nice shirt. Look out for Lacoste. Look out for the little alligator. Next item that's sold is a beautiful Pendleton. If you haven't been following me on my Facebook page at Raiken Profit, I'd suggest you to go shoot over there. I do a lot of my sales update videos and pictures. I posted this up right when it sold, but a very nice shirt. Paid $5 for this, and it sold for about $45, I believe. Somewhere around $45 to $50 maybe. 100% wool. Has the wooden buttons on it, which is a very nice touch. Pendleton, can't go wrong with that. Next item that's sold is another polo shirt, Brooks Brothers. And when you go out looking for clothes, take the time to look for stains and whatnot, because I brought this home and didn't realize that it had a few stains. You might be able to see it right there. And I washed it. It just didn't come out, but it does have the logo. It's a golden fleece version of the Brooks Brothers. Still a very high in demand, popular brand, so I was able to get $12 for it with a stain. If you have an item that has a stain and it's a good brand, you can still sell it. Just make sure to take the extra pictures, take the time to disclose it in the eBay listing so people know, and you won't have a problem selling it. Next item is a Territory Ahead. Very nice, 2 extra large, 40% silk, 40% cotton, 20% wool. Kind of a little blend of different materials. Nice color scheme to it. 2 extra large, it's always going to sell better. The bigger the better when it comes to clothing. And paid $4 or $5 for this, and this sold for $22. Alright, keep an eye out for the vintage Ralph Lauren polo sweaters. They sell really well. This is a size medium, 100% cotton, nice stripes, has the pony right there. This actually sat in my closet for a little while. I was getting a lot of low balls, but it did sell. This sold for $17. If you get the more newer ones with the more brighter colors, they do sell a little better, but still made $7 or $8 for a few minutes time. Not bad. And the last clothing item that I want to show you that I sold over the last few days is a Pendleton. And what really makes this Pendleton stand out from the crowd is right here, if you could see it. It's got the leather elbow patches. The leather elbow patches are a really nice selling point when it comes to the Pendletons. They sell a lot better. Look out for the bigger, thicker Pendleton jackets and coats with the extravagant colors. Look out for the wooden buttons. Look out for the leather patches on the elbows. Those are some really nice selling points, and it's going to increase the profitability of these items. So those are the clothing items that I sold over the last few days. And now I want to show you a few items that I sold on Amazon. Amazon's been treating me really well lately, especially with the video games. So let me show you what I found. First item is a Nintendo DS Horse Life. Paid $2 or $3, sold for $17. Crash of the Titans, found this at a yard sale the other day for $5, including I had 5 other Mario games. Those sold within an hour each, but this took about a week to sell. $5, sold for $14 or $15. Here's a game that I found over at a yard sale the other week, WrestleMania, complete in the box with the cartridge, manual, everything in here. Paid $1 for that, and that sold for $13, so that's a nice turnover. Another Horse Life for Wii, $3 or $4. Sold for $18. And Spider-Man, Friend or Foe. These Wii games are hot. I mean, $5, $12 or $13. Really quick. Amazon's so easy to be able to list your items up. So that's it. Those are all the clothes I've sold. The Amazon. Craigslist has been treating me really well. Been selling a ton of bikes. Been buying a ton of bikes. If you ever have any questions with that, shoot me an email or shoot me a picture at Facebook at Raiken Profit, and I'll help you out. Hope this video helped. Hope it's helping to allow you to recognize these brands and get more comfortable out there and start picking and making some money. Feel free to contact me with any questions. Make sure to hit the like button, comment, subscribe. Check out my blog at RaikenProfit.com, and have a great day. I appreciate all the support. Take care. Hey, what's happening everybody on YouTube? Steve here, Raiken Profit, RaikenProfit.com. In this video, I want to cover some of the pros and some of the cons when it comes to selling on eBay to give you a better idea and understanding if eBay is right for you. So I've been selling on eBay since 2013. You know, I had started actually with Craigslist, but eBay was my real first business that really allowed me to go full-time and not have to worry about working a job. And you guys all know my story. I used to work a crappy job before, the Cracker Barrel. Food was great, but I made no money, had no time, was stressed out. I just hated it. So anyways, I give a lot of my credit to eBay because it really allowed me to get into this online world of making money on the internet. And now I make money with a whole bunch of different sources, this YouTube channel, product launches, Shopify, affiliate marketing, Kindle publishing, the list goes on and on. But anyways, let's dive into eBay and let's talk about some of the pros to selling on eBay. And then we'll talk about some of the downsides to eBay as well. So the first benefit to selling on eBay, and I think this is one of the big reasons why a lot of people get into eBay, is because it's a low investment. It doesn't take a lot of money to get started with eBay. It's actually free for the most part, besides, you know, some listing fees and some selling fees. And if you get a store, it could cost you 15, 20 bucks a month. But for the most part, it doesn't cost a lot of money to get started with eBay. And a lot of times, most people have a couple $1,000s worth of inventory just laying around a house. Maybe you have a tripod, or maybe you have, I don't know, some AirPods that you're not using anymore. Most people have thousands of dollars worth of just random electronics or clothes or shoes laying around the house. And it's easy to list up 10, 20, 30 items and start making a couple hundred to a couple $1,000s. So the low investment startup and the low capital need to start this business is very attractive to a lot of people. Another thing that is really attractive when it comes to getting started selling on eBay, definitely another pro, is anybody can do it, right? You don't need to go to school for 4 years. You don't have to go to college or business school to sell on eBay. It's actually pretty simple. You know, you find an item, right? Whatever that item is. Here's my little vlogging tripod. And you take a picture, list it on eBay, create a title, a description, and essentially it goes up for sale. And when it sells, you just ship it to the customer. It's very easy to do. Obviously, there's a lot of ins and outs to it, but it's not rocket science. And really, anybody could sell on eBay. There's so many instructional videos out there. You know, my channel, other YouTube channels, Facebook, blogs. So it's really easy to get started, and it doesn't have like a huge barrier to entry. So that's definitely a pro right there. Another thing that I've always loved about eBay is it's fun. It's really, really fun. Not necessarily listing on eBay, but kind of going out and finding items. You know, I talk a lot about on my channel how to find items to sell on eBay from places like, you know, Goodwill, Savers, the Salvation Army, you know, thrift stores, going to garage sales, picking flea markets. There's so many cool and creative ways to find items undervalued, especially you live in America and the States. There's so many undervalued items to flip on eBay. It's really a lot of fun. And, you know, coming from the background of working in a restaurant, it was stressful. It was never fun. I hated it. So kind of having my freedom and being able to, another benefit is being able to work from home. I just loved it. I loved having the freedom. I loved being able to, you know, work whenever I wanted. I didn't have to clock in. I didn't have to clock out. And really that F word, freedom, is huge. And that's really probably for me, honestly, is one of the biggest pros to selling on eBay. Now, another pro, and this is probably why you're selling on eBay, is money. You know, you can not only make money on eBay, but it's quick cash for the most part. If you find something that is in demand, it can sell within a couple hours on eBay. Now, if you're not sure how to determine if something is going to be a quick seller or if it has a market or if it'll sell, there's actually a functionality on eBay called the sold listings. And what that is a little box that you can press, and it'll show you all the items that have sold. And not only what is sold, but how much it is sold for, the date, how many of them sold. So to give you a really good idea if you should or you shouldn't list that item. And if you do list it, you can get an idea of how much it should sell for. So those are definitely some of the benefits to selling on eBay. If there's any more benefits that you guys or gals out there have definitely experienced, feel free to drop a comment down below. But now let's transition into the cons, the downsides, the negatives, because there's one thing I've learned about in business from starting multiple businesses is it's never the way it appears, right? If you look at a business, maybe it's affiliate marketing, or even this YouTube channel right here, right? I definitely treat this as a business, and I do make money from it, and I'm able to help thousands of people, but people might look at a YouTube channel and think, oh, that's easy, or maybe that sucks, or you can't make money, or maybe you can make a lot of money. Everyone has all these different opinions about YouTube or eBay or Amazon, but here's the lesson. It's never what it appears on the surface, right? So you really got to dive into it and experience it for yourself to really know what the truth is. So here's one of the downsides to selling on eBay, which you may or may not be aware of. It's very time consuming. It's very, very, very time consuming. And, since 2013, now it's 2018, I've spent less and less time, and I've started to build my business outside of eBay for this one reason. Amazon FBA, moving into private label, wholesale, my personal brand, so many different income streams. And I've kind of focused more on them because they're more passive and scalable versus eBay. That's one of the downsides to eBay. It's very, very time consuming, right? If you're going to thrift stores and garage sales, to source your items, it takes a lot of time. If you're the only one running your business, your eBay business, it takes a good amount of time to, if you're selling clothing, as an example, to clean your clothing, to measure your clothing, to take pictures of your clothing, to ship your clothing. And that's just clothing. It could be shoes or electronics or anything. eBay is very, very time consuming, and it is a challenge to scale your business, right? If you want to make, $100 or $500 or maybe $2,000 to $3,000, you could definitely do that on eBay, fairly easy by yourself. But if you want to get to $10,000 a month profit, I'm not talking gross sales, I'm talking profit, or $20,000 a month or $30,000 a month, it's very, very challenging to get there by yourself. And you've got to get very creative. You're definitely going to need a warehouse. You're definitely going to need physical employees, there. You could obviously hire some virtual assistants to run parts of your eBay business, but it's time consuming. And for me personally, I've kind of shied away from that. And now that I've scaled my business past the $10,000 per month profit mark, I'm really not interested in really getting too or super deep into eBay. So it really depends. If you're trying to just make a couple $100, couple $1,000, eBay is great, but the scalability is definitely an issue. Another downside to eBay, and this is just e-commerce in general, it doesn't matter if you're running your own Shopify store, Amazon, private label, whatever you're doing, one of the downsides to eBay is refunds, right? They'll buy your item, it'll be a brand new video game or a brand new whatever, and they'll open it up and they'll decide they don't want it and they'll send it back to you, right? Now, there's obviously some precautions in your favor that can help you to reverse refunds and stuff like that, but a lot of times as a seller, you are at a disadvantage, and dealing with refunds and dealing with customers, it can just get annoying at times. So if you're maybe short of patience, you don't like dealing with people, it is nice that you're not having to deal with them in real life. You're doing it through the internet, but still dealing with people in general can be rough at times. And, you've got to learn how to keep your cool and, maintain a positive mindset and not get mad at people. So refunds are definitely a downside as well. Another downside is it's getting very competitive with thrift stores, like thrifting, like clothing or shoes or electronics or board games. Just going to thrift stores in general is getting more and more competitive, right? So if you don't like to hustle, if you don't like to go out there and grind and deal with competitions and be strategic, especially if you're trying to scale past like a couple $1,000s a month, it's definitely a downside. Another downside to selling on eBay is it can get boring. It is quite repetitive at times. Say you have 20 or 30 clothing items, you have whatever it is. Maybe you have 30 or 40 electronics. Maybe you're selling parts. It can be very repetitive, taking pictures, measuring, listing, taking pictures, measuring, listing, shipping, listing, shipping, sourcing. So it can get repetitive at times. So, myself being a Gemini, I always like to switch things up. So if you're like focused only on one niche, it can definitely get boring and repetitive. So that can definitely be a downside as well. Another downside I want to mention is, and I experienced this, you could annoy your family, you could annoy your friends, your girlfriend, boyfriend, your spouse, because going out thrifting and sourcing items and buying from garage sales, you can start to accumulate a lot of junk, right? Maybe that junk is profitable, but like, for example, when I was living at home with my parents, this was like 4 or 5 years ago, I like loaded up my house with all this used clothing, and my parents, my friends, they were just like getting super annoyed because every time I would have guests over or my parents would walk in my room, they're like, Steve, what the heck are you doing? So, especially for, if you're dating someone or you're married, I've heard a lot about people just getting in fights and arguments about it. So those are definitely some of the downsides. For me, the biggest downside would have to be the time and the scalability issues. The biggest pros to selling on eBay, I would say, is, quick cash. It's a low investment. And it's fun in general, having your freedom going out thrifting, sourcing different items. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video, and this video was able to build some context and add some value to you. If you guys have any other cons or pros that you want to add into this conversation, feel free to link up some comments down below. But I really appreciate you guys. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to like the video, leave a comment, subscribe for more videos. And we also have a free book as well called 100 Amazing Items to Resell. So if you are looking to get started selling on eBay, be sure to grab that book right here. It's free, and you can learn about 100 items to start buying and selling to make some money. So with that being said, guys, go out there, crush 2018, and I will see you in the next video. Peace. What's going on, guys? It is Sunday night, and we are in my garage right now. I apologize if it's a little echoey, but the garage is closed. It's so cold outside. Got my buddy Vinny right here helping me out doing some clothes. Say what up to everybody on the Raiken Profit YouTube channel.
What's up?
So he's doing his listings. He's doing some measuring right now.
Oh, we got a flaw right here.
Oh, we got a flaw. Let's show him live on camera, man. Where's this flaw?
It's like a moth bite. There's maybe 2 of them.
So what would you write on the listing for something like that?
I put a star on the listing and like this, watch. This. That would be facing me. It's on the right side, so it's the right, I guess you would say, waist area.
Yep. So here he is right now. I've made a video like this before, guys, showing you the listing template. He's got the inventory number, the brand, any issues. And you guys can sell stuff on eBay with a flaw. Just make sure to take a picture of it and describe it accurately. You just don't want to upset the buyers when they get it and they're not expecting it. If they know it's there, hopefully they've read the description, you should be all right. But yeah, we're taking pictures right now. This is our little setup right now. If you're wondering, how do you get that little glow behind the shirt, which I think is a cool effect, this is pretty much what we got going on right here. And we've got a light illuminating against the wall, kind of creating this cool little effect. And yeah, this is it. We got the umbrellas right here. We've got the inventory, which is getting listed over here. Actually, it's over here. Let me show you what we're listing up today. We got some sport coats, blazers. This is a really cool camel hair sport coat by Paul Stewart. Got a nice jacket. I mean, we got a bunch of stuff going on right here. So this is kind of the little setup from a different angle. Ooh, I like that. Vinny, how many pictures are you normally taking?
For one, like a suit listing?
Yeah.
You got the tag with that tag, so your inventory tag with your label on your clothes. Then the next picture will be on the mannequin front, the whole front. Then I get a half front, I get a half side, and I get a back. And when the suits come in, what I do is take this little stand right here, fold the pants as nice as you can.
And can you guess where I purchased this little stand from?
I think you purchased it at Home Goods. I got the pants on there, and now we set the pants up kind of at an angle.
And you made this up yourself. I never taught you how to do this.
Put it down more. We don't want it to fall on the floor though. So we stay here, and I get down right here, and that's pretty much the best shot I'm gonna get off of that. I'm gonna have to go.
Can you show them the picture real quick on the camera when you're done? I want to see.
So that's the one right there.
Nice, that's clean. All right, guys, so we want to thank you for watching this video. How'd your day go listing, man?
We had a great day. I hope you guys enjoyed watching. Had a lot of fun. Hope you learned something. Hope you can take something back with you when you're doing your stuff. And see you next time.
What's going on, everybody on YouTube? Steve here, Raiken Profit. Hopefully you guys are having a fantastic day. In this video, I want to share with you guys a couple common shipping mistakes I see beginners making and even intermediates making when they're selling on eBay. So I was at a friend's house last night, good friend of mine. He sells on eBay, and he was making some shipping mistakes, and it was kind of driving me up a wall. So I want to share some of these mistakes that maybe you're making, that he was making, to save you some time, save you some money. So first and foremost, make sure you're shipping from home. The mistake he was making was he was using an inkjet printer. Don't use inkjet printers. The ink is expensive. They're super slow. Get yourself a nice printer that uses toner, right? It's cheaper, it's faster. It doesn't take 20, 30 seconds to print out each label. It literally takes like a second. So you'll save money and it's quicker. Go check out some Brother laser printers. They're really, really good. They're not that expensive and you'll save time. You might be thinking, Steve, what's the big deal? You know, maybe I can get ink cheap. It's just slow. It's just, I don't like it. I've used both in the past. If you're shipping out 10, 15, 20 items, I could save you 10, 15 minutes right there, really not having to do anything different. So definitely get yourself a laser printer. Another mistake he was making was when he was shipping his items, he didn't have all of the proper boxes at his disposal. So if you go to a website, USPS, United States Postal Service, USPS.com, I believe. I'll link it up. First link below. You can buy a whole bunch of free shipping boxes. So you can get the regional A boxes, the regional B boxes, which ship based on weight and location. You can get flat rate boxes. You can get all different types of boxes and flat rate padded envelopes, all different types of supplies, literally free, which is really, really cool. If you don't have the proper boxes at your home when you're shipping, you're gonna lose money, right? You're gonna definitely lose money, especially if you're shipping from the East Coast to the West Coast to the East Coast, vice versa, based on size and weight and location. Not having those boxes is gonna cost you money. And again, you might be thinking to yourself, Steve, who cares if I pay an extra $1 or $2? Well, if you're running this like a business, those are the margins that can either make or break you. Because so many people, they say, well, I'm selling X amount of items. I made $3,000 this month. No, you didn't make $3,000. Why? Because you might have made $3,000, but now you have to minus off all your shipping expenses, right? You've got to minus off your cost of goods, office supplies, eBay fees, PayPal fees, and we're not done yet. You might be thinking, well, that's my profit. No, it's not, because you're going to have to pay taxes on that money, and additionally, you're going to have something that's called cash flow, because you might make $1,300 profit after all said and done, but now you have to reinvest back into inventory. So now maybe you only made $500, $600 profit. Now you're having a hard time paying yourself, and now you're forced to continue to work your job. So little tiny things like saving time printing using a laser printer, having the right shipping supplies and the right boxes to save a buck or two, that's what's gonna make or break you. Another mistake that he made, and I'm not trying to put him down or anything, these are mistakes that I've made in the past as well, is it took him forever to find his inventory to ship out. He had no inventory system. So he literally spent like 25 minutes trying to find this one freaking toy, and I see him just like running around trying to find his inventory, and I'm thinking to myself, boy, oh boy, like, all you have to do is get some boxes or bins and just create a little system. And then when you list your item, just record the SKU number inside the eBay listing. So these are just common mistakes. Again, I'm not trying to roast him. I've made these mistakes. I'm sure you've made these mistakes. Maybe you're making these mistakes currently. But, you know, choose one. Maybe all these things you're doing wrong right now. It's no big deal. Choose one thing that you want to focus on and accomplish that. And then maybe a couple weeks later, focus on that and accomplish that. Start with the laser printer. Get some good shipping supplies. Order all your proper boxes off of USPS. Make sure you've got some nice plain boxes as well. eBay is a great resource for that. If you have an eBay store, you're gonna get, I think, $25 every quarter or 50 bucks of free shipping supplies. So they have some great boxes. I love eBay's boxes. Shipping, you might not think it's very important, but it does matter. All the little tiny things matter, whether it's shipping, sourcing, finding the right items, listing efficiencies, and the list goes on and on. So if you guys enjoyed this video, do me a big favor and smash that like button. If you want to get on the live notification squad, plus get our free book, 100 Amazing Items to Resell, which is a great resource for anyone looking to get into this reselling game, selling on eBay, Amazon, Craigslist. Be sure to get it. First link down below, raikenprofit.com/live. So you'll get notifications of live videos. You'll get a free book. Sometimes I run contests and prizes and give updates over there through Facebook Messenger. So be sure to jump on the notification squad. But with that being said, guys, keep killing it in 2018. You've got it. Go make it happen. And I look forward to hearing you guys in the comments. Peace. Hey, what's going on, everybody on YouTube? Steve here, Raiken Profit, RaikenProfit.com. Hopefully you guys are having a fantastic night. I've been spending the last hour or so doing some listings and getting some items ready to be shipped off tomorrow. As you guys know, I've been going full force with eBay and getting a bunch of systems created. I've been working on getting my new little warehouse area, if you want to call it that, at my new apartment all set up. And I just wanted to share with you guys my bin system right here for my smaller items. I do want to state, for my clothing, I'm going to be keeping the same inventory system, which essentially is, oopsies, sorry about that, which is the masking tape system. I've got a letter and then I've got a number associated to that, and essentially it goes in rows. So you have the A's, the B's, the C's, the D's, and then the numbers follow. So this is D24 right here. This actually isn't even listed. I've got quite a few pieces of clothing that need to be listed. Well over 100, probably 125 clothing items that need to be listed. So I've been working every single day getting that set up. But clothing is going to be inventory, what am I trying to say? The inventory system for my clothing, I'm like trying to make up words here, is going to stay the same. The bin system, though, has been completed, so I kind of want to share that with you. It's not a death pile, but as you guys know, I haven't really been doing eBay much over the last year or so. It's been a part-time gig, and, you know, it's just been something I've kind of just been doing here and there. And if I was out thrifting and I saw, you know, a really, really cool item, I'd pick it up, and it wouldn't go in the death pile. It would go in the clothing investment pile, because I know my clothing, a lot of the clothing items that I pick up hold and retain their value. So yeah, guys, let's dive into this video. What's going on, Bossy Baby, Gina? Good to see you guys. Glad you're here. So here's the bin system, guys. I've got a shelf. This is a 5-tier shelf right here that I ended up picking up at a garage sale for $10, and I've got quite a few of them. As you can see going down, I've got about 4 or 5 of them. So that's number one. You're going to need a shelf to create this system. Number two, we've got some hefty bins. Now, these I picked up from Walmart, each new. If you're out at the thrift stores or you're at a garage sale, you could pick them up for $1 or $2. These were about $7 or $8 each one of these bins, and they're a pretty good size. As you can see, pretty good size. And number three, what I did was I went over to Canva, and I created a pretty much a graphic in a sense. One that said bin 1, bin 2, all the way to bin 8. I made the letters bold. I made it stand out. And I decided to use the word bin and then the number associated with it. I didn't go with like A5 or A7 because I didn't want to mix up my clothing inventory numbers with my small items, which obviously I'm not going to have as many smalls as I am going to be having with clothing. So I decided to use a different phrase versus just a letter at first. So it doesn't matter what you choose, but bin 1, bin 2, bin 3, all the way down to bin 8. And I've got quite a few items to list. As you can see over here, we've probably got 1 or 2 Amazon FBA shipments that need to be sent out. Bunch of some retail arbitrage stuff that I never sent out from last summer. Some brand new board games, some toys down here. And then we have a couple right over here, some eBay stuff that needs to be listed as well. So that's the bin system. So let's move on and talk about how I find my products and put them in the correct bin. So when I list an item, for example, let's say I list up this Dell charger. Once I photograph it and I go through the listing and I list it up, I list on the mobile device. So what I'll do when I'm listing my items is I'll have the bin right next to me at the beginning. So let's just say I have bin 6 next to me. I'll put all the small items that I list in bin number 6. And then when I'm done listing, I sit down on the desktop and I sort my active listings from the last one listed, and I just go through and I add the bin number to the SKU label section. So that's what I do. If you're listing on the desktop, then you can actually just put in your SKU right then and there. Unfortunately, when you're listing on mobile, that option isn't there right now. Hey, what's going on, RT? Good to see you. You're cute too. Let's see, what else is there to discuss? So I discussed the shelves, I discussed the bins, I discussed the inventory numbers, and lastly, like I said, once you list it, you have to make sure to put that number, whether it's a letter and a number or, you know, a phrase and a number, whatever, right, in the SKU label section. And actually, when you go onto your orders page, you can actually customize it to show certain fields. So for example, you can have it show the SKU label, because if you don't have that customized, it's not going to show it. So you're going to have to go in and customize that. Customize that on your active listings as well, because if you're listing from mobile, you're not going to be able to put your SKU label in, so you're going to have to go in there afterwards, active listings, customize that, make sure the SKU label is showing, and then put in your custom inventory number. So that's about it. You know, we're on phase 3 right now in terms of my workspace down here. Let me show you around for the guys who haven't seen it yet. So here's all the inventory behind me. Let me actually flip this around. So that's the inventory. We've got a couple empty shelves right here, which are going to slowly fill up. Here's some more bins. I actually picked those up at the thrift store. We've got some books that need to be shipped out. Those are just some random DVDs. Of course not, Pittsburgh Mike, man. I'm always jumping around. I'm, you know, experimenting, trying new things. And that's the cool thing about, you know, being, you know, an entrepreneur or an eBay seller or an Amazon seller. You don't have to be stuck in a box. So you'll never keep me in a box. I do what I want, when I want. And that's the best part about being a reseller or an entrepreneur running your own business. You can't hold me back, and no one can hold you back either. You do what you want, right? As long as you're making money. So anyways, shelving system right here. Here are the clothes right back here. Most of those need to be listed. And I'm telling you guys right now, I've been aiming for 10 to 15, sometimes 20 listings per day. The smalls are really, really easy to list. But I'm aiming for at least, you know, 10 clothing items a day. That's my goal. Let me flip around the camera. What else we got going? Here's a bunch of inventory that needs to be processed. Some clothes that need to be processed, more inventory. Here's the photography cube that I have going on right here. That's where I'm photographing a lot of the smalls. This needs to get set up. That's been sitting around forever. Here's my little bin with just random stuff, clip-on ties, tape, different things like that. Here's my shipments that are going to be sent out tomorrow. I've got my Netflix on right now. I've got, I don't know, 10 or 11 items that need to be shipped out. Over here, this is going to be in phase 3, well, phase 4, getting this all organized. I've got a whole bunch of, I know, I always call it shipments. It's shipments. I've got a Jewish accent that made no sense, but take it for what it's worth. Here we have the shipment, the box, the material area right here. It's very empty and naked right now, right? So I've actually got a bunch of boxes that I had just picked up recently at Walmart, and that's going to be getting filled out over here. So USPS, I've got I always want to call it a shipment of boxes and different materials coming on in. So this is going to get filled out. I am using little those little F and SKU stickers to kind of label everything. I'm a man that needs to be organized. If I am not organized, I will not do the work. So I'm striving towards organization. I'm striving towards having things systemized and having things where I want to find it. So this is the area right here, guys. Show you I know you guys have probably been following me and seeing this place slowly develop over time. It's a work in progress, but this is a shipping area in front of me, like I said. Those are some items I had just listed. Steamer, random stuff here, bikes that are mine / need to be listed, random tripod. This is where the clothing area is going to be. This is where I've been taking pictures. I've been using the white wall just as the backdrop. Dirty ass mannequin right here, which thank God the clothing goes over it, because this thing has been like through hell and back, I tell you right now. But that is about it, guys. If you have any questions, feel free to ask away, and I'll do the best I can to help you guys out if you're looking to organize your inventory or get started on eBay. I'm going to put this down and answer some questions. Yeah, it definitely feels good to be settled down and organized. It still needs to be organized a bit. Definitely some systems that need to get put in place. I need the boxes. I need the USPS materials coming in, because I've been having to ship so many items because I've been listing like crazy that it's hard to find the right boxes if you're not prepared. So that's one thing I'm working on in phase 4, getting the shipping area all put together, and getting the clothing items listed. Average sales per day, it's really up and down. I've been really going at it hard for about the last month. I've done like $3,000 in like 2 weeks because I've just been listing like crazy. A lot of high-end stuff too that I had sitting around. So I don't know what my average sale is, to be honest with you. I'm just listing. That's what I'm focusing on. Yeah, I'm just buying the boxes over at Walmart. I could go dumpster diving and I could go ask around at, the dollar store and different places like that. But right now, it's pretty cheap just to buy the boxes. And I'm not really concerned right now with saving a couple bucks. I'm concerned with listing, getting good routines in. And then phase 5, phase 6, hopefully sooner than later, I will have hired my lister, photographer, my eBay person to come in once a week part-time to list 50, 100 items for me. Maybe less, maybe more. I'm not really sure. I'm not really concerned with where I'm going to be then. I'm just focusing on this phase, and I'm taking the next step. So definitely the next couple of steps are going to include hiring somebody. So what's going on, Corey? Good to see you. If you guys are enjoying this video, be sure to hit the like button. I can't see how many likes there are right now, so I want to have faith in my Raiken Profit followers that you will smash that like button, because I like it. I like when you hit it. How long did it take to get selling and following? Selling and a following? What's your advice? I don't have a following on eBay, but I've been selling on eBay for 4 years on and off. So if you guys have been following me for a while, I like to get my hands dirty in a bunch of different things. I get bored easily. So there's times where I go full time with eBay. There's times where I completely abandon it. But the cool thing is, with eBay and Amazon and Craigslist, you could leave, but you want to know what? You could always come back. If you need some extra cash, or you're just bored, or maybe you want to just have some fun, right? Because it's enjoyable, listing sometimes. It definitely gets bored sometimes, and sometimes I want to shoot myself in the head listing. I'm sure you guys all know how that is, but that's the cool thing about this entrepreneurship gig. You can do whatever you want. As long as you're making money, you can bounce back and forth. You can stick with something. You can do whatever you please. So I don't actually include the packing slips right now. So I'm not doing it. Obviously, is it professional? Yes. Will it help maybe with feedback? Probably. But right now, I'm just really not concerned with that. I'm sure it's probably best to do it, and I'd probably advise you to do it. But to be honest, I haven't been including the packing slips, and I haven't been including the thank you stickers. I haven't been including any business cards. I've literally just been listing, and shipping. Hey, what's going on, Alex? I would, if you're on a budget, I would get any of the Canon Power Shots. The 330, the 340 is good. You could get those for probably under a couple $100. They're point and shoot cameras. I'd stay away from the DSLR cameras, Alex, because they're so big and bulky. What do I have right now? I have the Canon G7X, but that's like $400 or $500. That's probably like one of the best point and shoots you can get. Where would you list an antique chest? Probably locally because I wouldn't want to ship it. Yeah, I mean, packing slips and thank you stickers, it's definitely a good practice. I'm just focused on listing right now, but I'll get that system in line eventually. Justin's been focusing on Amazon FBA, but I'm still learning eBay. Yeah, FBA is great. I like to send out a couple shipments per week. FBA, as you can see over here, I like to do board games. I like to sell books. New in the box stuff, video games, random electronics. I sell a bunch of different stuff on Amazon. Yep, I have a Shopify store, and it's another one of my side hustles right now. Just like eBay is a side hustle, I've got some products that I've created as a side hustle. I do some email marketing. I do some Craigslist bicycles as a side hustle. I've got Shopify, which is a side hustle. I do Facebook marketing for my Shopify business. So it's going well. It's just growing each and every day. Is there a software you recommend for your listings? There's third-party softwares out there. I use Inventory Lab for Amazon. For eBay, I don't use any third-party softwares. Yeah, the CyberShot, I think that's what it's called. That Sony, Alex, should do fine. I've never used it before. Dustin, what's up, Dustin? Good to see you, man. I do bins with clothing by inventory. Yeah, I would put... I'd put clothing in bins as well, but how are you going to put something like this, in a bin? How are you even going to polybag it? It's a huge LL Bean leather jacket. So I sell a lot of bigger items. I just sold this a couple minutes ago for $35 plus $5 shipping. It's a really nice. Let me see if you guys can guess what brand this sport coat is. Let me make sure I don't spoil the surprise for you. Any idea what brand you guys think this is? It's beautiful, but I sold it for $35 plus $5 shipping. So it's Ted Baker. I'll just give it away. Yeah, I like to hang my blazers and sport coats as well. It just makes it look nice. Do you keep detailed records of inventory and bookkeeping per item, price paid, price sold? Yes. Well, I don't know how detailed, I guess you want to call it, but I have a specific credit card that I use for all my business stuff, and I have a bookkeeper. So, everything's broken down, cost of goods sold, the various deductions and whatnot. So if you are, selling on eBay and you're obviously buying your inventory for eBay, have a specific credit card that you use only for business and don't mix personal. And have a specific bank account that all your income comes in, so you can see, and there's no misconceptions of what's income and what's deductible, right? Cost of goods and everything. My bookkeeper is actually $300 a month, and I've got quite a few different income streams coming in, and there's a lot of different things that my bookkeeper does. It's not just a basic bookkeeper. I'm not going to dive into all the details today, but you can get one for $100 or less if it's just a basic, probably even less than that if you just get a basic, random person. My bookkeeper is actually it's like an accountant firm as well, so they do a bunch of various things for me, and it's much more than just a bookkeeper. It's more of a strategist as well with my entity structures and different things like that. So it's almost like having a partner. It's a little different, but probably $100 a month or less you can find one, just a normal one. Hey, Robo Vintage, good to see ya. Grinding here in Indiana. What's up? Not much, man. Just making this video talking about my inventory system. If you missed it, be sure to watch the replay afterwards. Bobby Moon says, liking the setup, Steve. Systems are important. Like I said before, I've recognized over the last 4 years of working for myself, because if you don't know my story, I came from, working delivery pizza jobs and, different restaurants and retail and stuff like that. And I came from a world where I would just show up, clock in, clock out. And when I transitioned into, having my own business, whether it was eBay or Amazon or my own products or YouTube, membership sites, all the different things, I was responsible for so many things. I was wearing so many hats. I had so many, actions that I had to take on a daily basis. And I realized that if I was unorganized and I couldn't find something, or if I didn't have a system in place, it would kill my motivation and the results would really hinder significantly. So I've learned it's so important to get systems in place early on. And to be 100% transparent with you guys, I just put this bin system in. And if you guys don't know the story, I just moved to this new place. So, I hadn't been selling on eBay much. It was only part-time. I didn't have any systems in line. So I came here, I built up my one store up to, I think it was like 80 or 90 items recently on eBay. And I was starting to struggle finding things. And I said, you know what, I've got to stop this right now. I've got to put an inventory system in place. And it's so beneficial to just take the time now. I mean, I know we want to focus on listing, we want to focus on making that money now, but putting systems in place to save time is going to reduce stress like crazy. I mean, I'm sure you guys all have the days where you're rushing, you got a million things to do, and the last thing you want to do is spend an hour shipping items and waste 20, 30 minutes trying to find an item. So having that system in line is going to help you significantly to reduce stress and to speed up your day, to focus on the things that really matter most. So, Alex is saying I adopted the bin system too. I love it. Yeah, I want to give a big shout out to 10K on the Bay, because watching his videos lately have been extremely beneficial, resourceful, and he's doing a really, really great job. So although he is using the bins for clothing, I took it and I used it for my smaller items, because I do prefer to, hang my clothing on my commercial racks that I have. I don't know, I just like it more. It's just a preference. Either way works. But big shout out to Chris, 10K on the Bay, awesome YouTube channel. So we got 177 people watching live right now. I appreciate you guys watching. If you guys have any questions, feel free to ask away. I'm kind of in a little round robin Q&A right here. So if you have any questions, feel free to drop a line. Daquan, good to see ya. PR says only 59 likes. I'm telling you. Someone mentioned, I run sales and I don't get a boost in sales. I typically always do. Every time I run a sale, I always tend to make more sales. I think that I think it helps rank you better. Plus, I think people want to see that discount. I mean, go to any retail store. What do you always see? What's the most common thing? There's always signs. 50% off, 1-day sale. People love sales, and I know for a fact it helps with conversions. If you have 100 people land on your sales page, your conversion rate is going to be increased if you have a sale running versus no sale, right? And even if the sale you started higher and it comes down to the same price, but you're running a sale, you're going to convert better. It's just human psychology. People typically will not act and make a move unless they really, really love something, but there's got to be urgency there. There's got to be urgency. So that's really, really big. What about packaging before shipping? I don't, just because the shipping method could be different, right? Like I honestly don't know how Bonafide does it. My partner Bonafide Hustler with the Green Room, he pre-packages everything and boxes it all. I don't know how he does it. Maybe it's because he's in the middle of the country, but here I'm in Connecticut. I'm all the way on the East Coast. I might be shipping regional rate A, or I might be going regional rate B, or I might be going, a flat rate, or I might be going with just a weight-based priority if I'm going to the West Coast, or if I'm going to Georgia, if I'm going to Pennsylvania. So I don't pre-package it because I just don't see the value in it. I see you saving some time, but it also takes up a lot of space having everything pre-packaged as well. So it's just not a fit for me. There's a million different ways to skin a cat. So no, my bookkeeper does not handle my taxes. My bookkeeper, the goal of that is to get everything in line, my income, my expenses, everything organized. And really the main goal of having a bookkeeper, the value that I found in it, was when it came down to tax season, I had my bookkeeper, which is really a lot more than a bookkeeper. Again, I'm not going to dive into the details, but it's like having a strategic partner on your side. We brought my super nice, clean, organized books directly to my CPA, and it actually saved me money and saved me a lot of time of trying to explain everything to my new CPA that I had gotten, because they're able to speak their language, right? For me, it was always a challenge expressing different things to my CPA, and having someone on your team to be able to help you with that was just, it was huge. It was a huge time saver. So the goal of the bookkeeping is to have your books in line, have all your income in line, organized, all your expenses, so on and so forth. So I'm just looking through the comments right now. Question: I listed True Religion shorts and hat more than 2 weeks ago. No sale. Please help. Well, I made a video about this earlier today. You've got to make sure you've got it priced correctly. So the way that I price items in a nutshell is I find items that have sold in the past, comparable sales, and then I price it based off of that. So take a look at your pricing. Make sure that it's competitive. Make sure that you have taken really good pictures, make sure you've got a good description, make sure you've got an accurate title, a descriptive title, good keywords in there. There's a million different factors that can be playing into why or why not your items aren't selling. Is your feedback crap? Do you have good feedback? All these little things, play a role. Full-time college student in the house looking to switch to FBA soon. I'd say, put your toe in the water, give it a try. What's up, Margaret? Good to see you. eBay and Amazon, they're different games, and there's going to be different learning curves and different struggles and challenges, and there's benefits and there's pros and cons. Just get started. Don't overthink it. For folks always ask me, what do you think the best way to get started on Amazon FBA is? And I'd say honestly, books. I think books are a great way to get started. Video games, board games. Toys are great as well. I'd say stay away from having to prep different things at first just to learn the process. Board games, video games, although you have to prep them a little bit. I'm looking around for ideas. But books are definitely one of the greatest ways to get started. You just scan it. Scan the book and send it on off. Hey, what's going on, Lance? Good to see you. Yeah, some books just got restricted. I was actually just watching a video by my main man, Reezy Resells, and he was talking about how there was a lawsuit from, that company called Pearson and McGraw-Hill or whatever it's called, and another one as well. They were suing Amazon because there were so many counterfeit books coming onto the market. So they've actually restricted those brands, selling them new. You can only sell them used. But, that's what's been happening all day long on Amazon. Things have been getting restricted. Hey, Texas Gal Treasures. What's going on, Margaret? Thanks for the $2 super chat. I appreciate that. I was actually just talking with Margaret earlier today, and we're going to be putting together a little green room merch by Amazon workshop, hopefully with Joe Clay and Mike Peterson and possibly a few more people as well. So, hey, I appreciate that, Margaret. Be sure to give her a subscribe over at Texas Gal Treasures, especially if you're interested in merch by Amazon. I've been creeping on your channel lately, learning. Yeah, there's been a lot of fake books, Ronnie, coming out. Apparently, I haven't seen them with the the super new popular Pearson, whatever the one is, McGraw-Hill, or I forgot what it's called, but especially Pearson. So just be careful with that. I think they're only letting you sell them used now. Do you think feedback affects sales, and if so, tricks to get feedback? I think it has an effect. Right? But I don't think there's much of a difference. Like, for example, Ronnie Hart's in the house, who is an amazing eBay seller. Big shout out to him. Be sure to give him a subscribe on YouTube. Follow him. But let's just say he has 3,000 feedback and it's 99%. And then maybe, I don't know, someone else has 40 feedback and it's 99%. Do you think Ronnie's going to get a lot more sales than the person with 40 feedback? And maybe he's top rated and the other person's not. Maybe a couple more. There's definitely benefits to being a top-rated seller. I'm sure you rank better. I'm sure you get more views. You save money on fees. I just know that eBay is probably going to reward you for being a top-rated seller. And the more feedback, I'm sure there's some type of pull in the algorithm. I don't know. I'm just taking a wild guess. But I don't think that it's going to make the biggest difference in the world. I mean, as long as you don't have like 3 stars or you have like 2 feedback and you look super sketchy, I don't think it's that big of a deal. I'm guilty of this at times, getting caught up in the little details. I think the main thing you need to focus on is just finding really good products and listing them. Being consistent with your listing, doing your research, finding good products and just listing them. What do you recommend for a startup investment? I'm not sure if you're talking about like reselling wise or not, but this was my first year that I actually invested in my my SEP IRA and a Roth IRA as well. So I'm actually investing in index fund. So that's my approach right now. I don't want to try to figure out how to beat the market. I'd rather just match the market. And also, CDs and different things like that. But I'm really a novice. Problem with donating? Have you not gotten $2 worth of value? I don't know what's going on. There might be a battle going on in the comments. What do you do with your eBay store when you go on vacation? I put it on vacation mode. If you have a store, you can actually put it on vacation mode, which I'm actually going to be doing soon because I'm going to the Seller Summit conference. What is it? May 16th to the 21st. Well, I'm going to be in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, the 16th to the 21st. There's a conference going on the 18th to the 21st. It's all about Shopify, private label, Amazon, wholesale, different things like that. There's going to be a lot of cool people there, from Greg Mercer to Scott Volker to Steve Chow, a lot of high-level sellers. So I'll definitely bring you guys behind the scenes and vlog that. I do have a video. It's probably from over a year ago. If you type in Raiken Profit Amazon Seller App, or if you just type in the Amazon Seller App, I do have a video that kind of shares a little bit about how it works and whatnot. But, either way, just look it up. I'm sure there's some people who have, more updated videos that can help you. I'm going to Fort Lauderdale. I can't say that. Fort Lauderdale. Eric says, FBA doesn't seem to be worth it compared to eBay. Steve, have you compared items you put on Amazon FBA versus putting them on eBay? They're both different marketplaces. For example, I could put a book on eBay and maybe get $8, but I'll get 22 or 23 on Amazon. Now, the profit margins are different, and Amazon does take more than eBay, but you're not having to pay that shipping fee in a sense. It's kind of a long story, but you get a discounted shipping rate shipping into the FBA warehouses. So it just really depends, It really, really depends on what you're selling, and certain products are better on certain platforms. The thing I like most about Amazon FBA and why I've been selling mostly on Amazon and not eBay over the last year and a half, you haven't seen me doing a lot of these videos and inventory systems because I'd actually gotten away from eBay for a while. I kind of got, I don't know if burnt out is the right word, but I was just doing different things, to be 100% honest with you guys. But the thing I like most about Amazon is the fact that it's hands-off. These products that you see right here are all going to get shipped off to the warehouse any day now. And once they land, obviously they're out of my workspace, so that's really good. But once it's there, I pay a little bit of a storage fee every month, and hopefully it sells before 6 months and I don't get hit with a long-term storage fee. But when it sells, they pick it, package, ship it, deal with customer service, and I get a check in the mail. Well, it's not a check in the mail, but it goes right to my bank. So that's what I like more about Amazon, is the hands-off. It's a different market. Plus, Amazon's like twice the size of eBay in terms of like the marketplace. Yeah, they will take used games. Hillbilly was asking about, can you sell used games on Amazon? It just depends on the game. You've got to scan it. Some are restricted. How long do you hold unsold inventory? Let's just talk about eBay. It really, really depends. If there's, for example, like something like this right here, which needs to be listed. Looks like I paid $12.99. This is a Territory Ahead leather jacket. Something like this, I'll probably list it up for, I don't know, $69 or something, or $79 or $59. I've got to do some research. I'm not entirely sure. But for $12.99, I'll put it up for $59.99. If it sits for 6 months, it sits for 6 months. If it sits for 6 months, it sits for 6 months. Who cares? Whoop-de-doo, But slowly over time, I'll go through my inventory and I'll see, okay, it's been, listed for 4 months. Maybe I move it down from 69 to 64. And in addition, what I've been doing lately is I've been running either a 5% or a 10% sale at all times, which I do believe helps boost sales and rankings and conversions and whatnot. So it really depends, If it's a little $9 video game that's been sitting for 9 months or 10 months and it just doesn't sell, I'll just end the listing and just donate it because I just don't have time for that. So one thing I want to mention to you guys and I'll keep you guys posted, is I just did my first 2 promoted listings on eBay. Do you guys know that you can actually promote your listings on eBay? You can pay. It's not pay per click. It's actually, instead of PPC advertising, it's PPS, pay per sale. And essentially what you can do, from my understanding, is you can promote items, which means, like, say for example, you type in, I don't know, Territory Head Leather Jacket. When you search the eBay page, you might be the 20th or 30th one in line, like all the way at the bottom of the page. It might be on page 2. But with promoted listings, you can actually get all the way to the top for the search term. I'm not exactly sure how it works, if it's keywords or what, but you can get on the first page all the way at the top by promoting your listings, and you tell eBay at the beginning of the campaign, I'm willing to pay this much for this sale. So for example, I can say, all right, I'm willing to pay 10% of the sale for you to promote this and get the sale for me. So right now it looks like you can only promote items that have more than a quantity of 1. Because like my inventory only qualifies for like 5 items to promote. So I think right now it's kind of in beta, the promoted listings on eBay. But I'm actually really excited to try that out and experiment with it more. I actually have 2 listings right now that I'm promoting. One's like a tennis racket, and another one I think is some cleaning stuff, Myers or whatever. I've gotten like 300 impressions and like I think 25 or 26 clicks in a day on it. And I actually had gotten an offer. Wait, was it that? Yeah, I actually got an offer, but it was like kind of like not a low ball, but kind of a crappy offer on that tennis racket. So I think it's helping. I think it's working. But I've only been doing it for a couple days, so I'll keep you guys posted with the eBay promoted listings. Welcome everybody. Steve Raiken here with RaikenProfit.com. Hello, hello, hello. Wanted to share with you guys a simple trick, and it's really a mindset trick, a little daily hack to list more items on eBay each and every day, each and every week, each and every month. And you know, the secret to making more money on eBay really is finding a way to list more items, how to get more items, but really list them, because you could buy all the items in the world, but if you don't list them and you don't make that a routine and a ritual, then you're not going to, increase your sales or make more money or accomplish your goals, whether it's listing 10 items a week or 100 items a week or 1,000 items a week, right? We all have different goals and whatnot. Good to see everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome. So here's the quick tip, guys, and this is just a mindset shift. If you wake up in the morning and you feel it's one of those days where you just feel lazy, and I'll be honest with you, today's one of those days for me. It was extremely hard to get out of bed this morning. I just didn't feel like I got a good sleep. I just didn't feel like going to the gym, but I got my workout and now I'm here, I'm done. But now it's time to go home and get work done. And I've done this before, and I'm going to share this with you guys. If you're not feeling good, if you don't feel like doing something, trick your mind and say to yourself, I'm only going to list 2 items. My goal is I'm going to go into my workspace and I'm only going to list 2 items. And what you're going to notice is once you list those 2 items, you're going to feel accomplished. You're going to feel like, wow, I did something. It wasn't that bad. It was just my mind tricking me into thinking, I couldn't do it or I didn't feel like doing it. And once you get those 2 items done, you're going to feel better, and you're going to list 1 more, and you're going to list another one. This actually happened yesterday. I said I was only going to list a couple of items and ended up listing like 9 items. Now, it wasn't huge, but, I'm not a full-time, high-volume eBay seller, right? If it was my full-time gig, then maybe I trick myself and do 20 or 30. But that's the trick, guys. If you're not feeling up to it, just tell yourself, I'm going to only list 1 item. I'm only going to list 2 items. I know that sounds crazy and elementary and just basic and simple, but it really, really works. If you tell yourself, I don't feel good, I'm going to list 40 items today, you're probably going to just procrastinate and maybe just avoid it altogether. Maybe you're going to go thrifting, or you're going to go hang out with your friends, or you're going to start to do all these things to avoid what you really need to do. You've got to take action. So trick your mind, trick yourself, play these little games on yourself, because at the end of the day, to get the results, you've got to take action. So that's it, guys. That's a simple little trick right there for listing more on eBay. I've used this trick for years, And I'm going to be using this trick again today. David says, thank you so much for the books. Best guides out there. You were the first to do it. Hey, I appreciate that. And I've got some more things in the chamber, some more interesting things that are coming out. Obviously, the Men's Clothing Mastery course, but I have another project I'm working on too, but I can't say anything yet, but it'll be pretty cool. Hey, what's going on, Isaac? Good to see you, man. Hey, Isaac. Isaac's a buddy of mine who lives in my town. Do you know where I am right now, Isaac? Let me see it. Let me pull this chart. Three of my suppliers, which, you know, I'm getting it from thrift stores. So it looks like I'm gonna be kicked off of the gone. Am I back? Hello? Uh-oh. I think something happened. But anyways, I guess I'm not gonna be able to sell CDs on Amazon anymore. What is happening here? Everything just went crazy. I guess I'm back. I don't know. This is the crazy thing about using this. Hello? Back? Good? I'm on? Yes? No? I have no clue what's going on right now. Everyone's saying you're gone, but then I'm back. I plugged in my charger and then my radio went on and it like cut off the sound. But what I was saying was I got an email, and I don't know if any of you guys got this email from Amazon saying you have 30 days to provide Amazon with the 3 invoices for the music category, and if not, then they're going to take all your listings down. So for anyone selling in the music category, it looks like yeah, it looks like that's going to be gated off as well. It's getting crazy over there on Amazon, isn't it? They're gating off like all the categories, and I've sold hundreds, if not thousands of CDs, and they're not grandfathering me in at all. So, you know, now's probably a better time than ever to, you know, get those invoices, you know, do what you got to do to get ungated, because it's going to put you, you know, ahead of the competition like crazy, because 90% of the people aren't going to, you know, go out and get the invoices or buy directly from a manufacturer. So it's quite interesting. Hey, Alexander, good to see you. Roberto, appreciate it. Angela saying, thanks everyone, not selling a lot, but I'm hopeful. You know, if you're not selling a lot, I could probably only guess that there's 2 things that you're doing wrong. It's either you're buying items that don't have a big enough market, and 2, you're not listing enough. So make sure to study the sold listings, make sure to do your research, make sure to go out to the thrift stores, garage sales on the weekend, buy, make sure there's a market, make sure there's enough profit, and then list. It's easier than ever now to get your listings up with the mobile app. I mean, it is easier than ever. If you're not listing on your phone, I don't know, man. You're really doing yourself a disservice, because it's just so fast, right? It's just so quick. It's easier than ever. So, Sen's Closet, haven't been listing much at all lately, but sales are still trickling in, so I'm grateful. Yeah, I mean, the more you list, the more you're going to make. It's bottom line. I mean, not only are you giving yourself more chances to make opportunities, but you're also, you know, getting a little boost from eBay with the algorithm, in my honest opinion, because they're going to reward you for listing all the time. So yesterday, I don't know, does anybody here sell on Merch by Amazon? Let me know. Yes or no in the comment section. Are you approved, and do you have designs up on Merch by Amazon? Because I want to share something with you guys. Let me know in the comments, yes or no. So Bob is on Merch by Amazon. Okay, Angela, awesome. I want to share with you guys something I am doing, which is quite interesting. Chrissy says I'm intimidated by Amazon. I mean, it's a different beast. If you're coming from the eBay world, it's a completely different world. Clearing Clutter, what's going on, girl? Good to see you. So anyways, guys, I've been experimenting with Amazon Vendor Express, which allows you to run PPC to your Merch by Amazon shirts, and also your Create Space books, what I'm experimenting with. So I'm actually, right now I'm spending like 30 bucks a day running pay-per-click to my merch shirts. So yesterday I ended up spending like 14 bucks, and I got like 26 clicks, something like that, to my merch shirts, but I didn't get any sales. So I definitely keep you guys in the loop with that. And essentially what I'm doing is, like, say for example you have like a fishing shirt, right? You know, what are the odds that your fishing shirt's going to be ranked #1? Maybe it's a bass fishing, maybe you're on like the 8th page. Well, with pay-per-click through the Amazon Vendor Express think that's what it's called. You can actually, you know, target specific keywords, and you can get your shirt, you know, on the first page for that keyword, and you can target like tons of keywords. So I'll keep you guys posted with that. Big shout out to the Treasure Gnome. David says eBay is only good for 100K profit a year. I mean, there's people making millions on eBay. It just depends on your business model. If you're going to be hitting thrift stores and garage sales, you know, it's going to be tough to get over that 6-figure limit right there. Hey, Isaac, thanks for watching, man. I appreciate it. So anyways, guys, I just want to come to you guys with that quick little video. It looks like there's more questions coming in. Do you track the total cost and profit for each item? I don't, but obviously, I track everything in terms of my books on a monthly basis. But I don't track each individual item. All right, guys, I gotta roll though. Peace out. Appreciate you guys. See you in the next video. Bye bye. What's going on, everybody? On YouTube, Steve again with Raiken Profit over at RaikenProfit.com. Coming back to you with another video from my office, as you can see, and this is my parking lot right now. But in any event, in today's video, once I go inside, I want to show you one of the most epic clothing haul videos that I've ever come across. I'm telling you, from one single thrift store, I've never found so many gems, so many high-end items that are going to bring in some serious profit. So we're going to go inside. I'm going to show you these items, and I estimate that these, about 27 to 30 items, if they were new in the store, retail, it would probably be selling for maybe $25,000 to $30,000 plus. So these items are really high-end. And I'm just so grateful and surprised that I found so many highly profitable items in one thrift store. It definitely seems like one person donated them all, and I was at the right place at the right time, and that's what it's about sometimes. So let's go inside. Enough of this jibber jabber. Let's go see what we got. All right, so I just got in the office, and as you can see in front of you, these are the items that I ended up picking up last night at the one thrift store, the Savers. This is my local Savers, the closest one to my house, and yeah, I got about, 6 bags jam-packed with items, and let me show you the receipt right here, show you how much I spent. See if I can focus that in. It's not focusing that well, but $273 I spent on, how many items does that say? 26 items. So 26 items right there, $274. So you do the math, how much that comes out to per item, probably around $10 around there. But yeah, let's take these out. I'm going to take these out of the bags. I'm going to put them on a hanger so they're easy to see. And let's go through these items. All right, so I got everything put on the hangers, and as you can see, I've got about 26 items right here. Maybe you could see a common theme, a lot of blazers, sports coats, and suits. That's pretty much primarily the items that I found. Like I said, I think one person donated all of these things because they're all pretty similar in size, and just based on how high-end these things are, you're not going to find these things every day. So I think one person donated it. Maybe they passed away or there was a divorce or something like that, unfortunately. But yeah, let's get into these items right now, and I'll show you the tag. I'll talk about what I paid for it, how much I look to sell it for, and anything else that I think could serve you with some value. So let's get into it. First item I paid $14.99 for, as you can see. The brand is a very high-end brand. I found a bunch of these, so you'll be seeing more of them. The brand is Belvest, and if you check out the sold listings, you'll see that these things sell for some crazy profits. You know, it does depend on the size, the material, the pattern, but with this being in excellent condition, having a really nice pattern to it, cool color, and it being a suit, I'm guessing this could probably go for, I'd say $100 to $200. And, you know, you guys make sure to do your own research. I still have to do some more due diligence and kind of, you know, zone in on what these things are going to actually sell for. I'm just giving you rough estimates, so it could vary a lot. So I'm going to give you just estimates, but I think this will go for $100 to $200. Really nice item there. Here we got another suit, and the brand is Ermenegildo Yegna. Let's see, this is made out of 100% wool. Nice pinstripes, and looks like the camera's showing it a lot lighter than it actually is. This is darker. It's like a nice dark charcoal gray, even though it doesn't show it. But really nice item right here. Beautiful condition suit, and a lot of these suits were made at Tyrone, so I'm not sure if that's like a tailoring shop. I think a lot of these were like custom made, but paid $14.99 for this. I would definitely shoot for probably. There's a different style right there. I've never seen that Trofeo. I would probably shoot for $150 on that. Definitely. I've sold a lot of suits by that brand by over $100. All right. Next item is another suit. Another Ermine Gildo Yegna at Tyrone. So that's what it says. I think it's definitely, like I said, it's a custom shop or something like that. Beautiful color. If you could feel this material, you would be like, wow, this thing is high quality. Paid $14.99 for this again. And I'd probably shoot upwards to $150, $200 on this suit because it is so gorgeous. If you felt this thing, trust me, you guys, you would know what I'm talking about. Next item that sold. I didn't sell any of these yet. The next item that I purchased, sorry if I've been misspeaking, but this is another bell vest right here. Check out the color. Beautiful color. Awesome design. In that for $10. This is a wool cashmere blend. And anything that has cashmere in it, especially when you're dealing with blazers, sports coats, and suits, is always going to sell for a higher price. And I think this is like a 40 to 60 split on wool and cashmere. $10. I'll roll the dice on it all day. I'd probably shoot for $50 to $100, somewhere around there on that. Next item that I picked up, not that I sold, but I will be selling it. As I can see, made in Italy, $9.99. That's a good sign so far. Oh my gosh, this material feels beautiful. Another Ermine Gildo Yegna. This brand rocks. I tell you right now, when you're dealing with suits, blazers, sports coats, button front shirts, polo shirts, anything, this brand will make you a ton of money. And this is made in Italy. Like I said, it feels really nice. I'm going to try to see what material this is. 100% wool. Wow, that's some nice wool. This feels amazing. $10, probably shoot for, I don't know, 50 to 75 on that. Could be wrong. Oh my God, this was one of my favorite pieces that I picked up. You will not believe this. All right, $9.99, made in Italy. Check out the inside of this. Look how custom made this is. Check that out. That is absolutely gorgeous. Absolutely beautiful. I love it. Laurel Piani, 100% cashmere. Palzoliri, if that's how you pronounce it. Tyrone again. And, oh my gosh, I would probably shoot for $150 to $250 on this all day long. 100% cashmere. You cannot beat that. That was one of my favorite items that I found. All right, moving on. Here's another item that I picked up. And sorry if this seems a little repetitive. I did find a lot of the same brands, but it just absolutely blew my mind at, you know, how many of these things I found. It really was ridiculous. This is another gorgeous item right here. This is a brand you guys gotta keep your eye out for. Oxford Clothes, an amazing brand. Check out the sold listings, folks, on these. I mean, very rare, hard to come across, super, super high end. If you find them, pick them up. This I only paid $10 for, and I got to do some more research on this, but I'd probably sell this for, I don't know, $50 to $150 plus. Like I said, I got to do some more due diligence. With these high-end brands, you really got to, you know, study up and see what the certain styles and colors and materials are going for, but $50 to $150, I'd say, probably more towards $100. Next item that I picked up, another item that's made in Italy, as you can see. Real nice design. It looks like it's a 2-button style. Got the nice sleeves. Let's open this up. Oh my gosh, are you serious? Check this brand out. I can't pronounce it, but I know it sells for a ton of money. I'll give it a shot. Gianluca something Napoli. Check that out. I'm telling you, if you guys have been selling clothes for a while, this is clothing porn. This is the type of stuff that gets you up in the morning. I mean, amazing item right here. I think this is a cashmere blend with wool. Again, look out for that tag. Super high end. Paid $9.99. If I had to guess, I'd say, I don't know, $50 to $150, somewhere around there. I've got to do some more research, but for $10, it's a no-brainer. Next item that sold. Why do I keep saying that? I'm so excited to sell these things. I just want to say they're sold. Next item that I picked up, again, $4.99. This is a bargain. Oh my gosh. If you guys see this, you're going to freak out. Oxford Clothes, $4.99. Same thrift store, Savers. Thank you so much. You're going to be paying my car payment for the next 12 months with this haul. But oh my gosh, check this out. Super 100s, very nice material, very nice and light. Oxford Clothes, $4.99. Again, who knows, $50 to $150. Next item that I picked up and will be selling very soon. Paid $9.99 on this. Made in Switzerland. Let's see what this puppy's all about. Another Ermine Gildo Yegna at Tyrone. Trofeo style. Got to look more into that. Sometimes these you know, these coats and whatnot, they'll be made by a certain style or something like that. Sometimes it's Trofeo, if I'm pronouncing that right. Another times it might be like Heritage with this brand. But $9.99, I'm going to shoot for, who knows, 50 to 100 bucks on that. Here's another item that I picked up. Paid $9.99 for this. Let's unbutton this and see what this brand is all about. Oh my gosh, another one. I don't even think I've ever found one of these on a blazer or sport coat or suit. Never. And I found, well, I'll tell you how many I found as we go on. But this is the second one that I found at the thrift store. Gianluca something something Napoli. Super high end. Someone teach me how to freaking pronounce this thing because I am pumped up. $9.99 again. I don't know, probably somewhere around 100 bucks. Next item that I picked up at this thrift store. Again, paid $9.99 for it. Beautiful material. Oh my gosh. I know this has got to be Belvest right here. No, it's not. Oh, I thought it was. This is Canali. Canali is a really high-end Italian brand. If you come across it in button front shirts or especially blazer, sports coats, and suits, pick it up. Again, this is such a nice material. I thought it was the Belvest brand because the Belvest brand has a certain material. If you've ever picked one up, you'll know what I'm talking about. But the material is screaming out money, high quality, excellent craftsmanship, and for 10 bucks, I'll roll the dice in something like this all day. Probably shoot for 50 to 75 on that. Here's another item that I picked up for $7.99. The brand is, oh, hi, Ermenegildo Yegna. I just saw you about 8 times. Another one of these. Not going to go into that too much. Probably another 50 to 100 made in Italy. Here's another item made in Italy, $9.99. I mean, you guys could only imagine what was going through my mind when I was at this thrift store. I mean, seriously. I mean, back to back to back to back. These things were all lined up on one clothing rack. It was, oh my gosh, it was a heart attack in the making. Here's another item, $9.99, Belvest, made in Italy, super 140s. So this is a super, super nice material, very thin. It looks like there's a little damage up top right there, which I already saw, but I'm just going to put that in the listing for 10 bucks. I know I could still get at least 40 or 50 for that. Next item that I picked up, oh, this is a beauty. $9.99. Take a look at the color and design. I mean, that thing is just screaming out gorgeous. Let's open this up and show you what it's all about. First thing that I see that really opened up my eyes. Loro Piana. 100% cashmere. I mean, that's a jackpot. That's a Raiken Profit jackpot right there. This is the brand Palzolleri, if I'm pronouncing that right. That's the second 100% cashmere by Loro Piani. I can't even talk. I'm so excited. Sport coat that I picked up at this place. The first one was really awesome, custom made. Second one, again, very nice. For 10 bucks, I mean, I'm going to shoot for, who knows, 100 to 200 bucks on that puppy. Next item that I found, another Ermenegildo Yegna. This is a cashmere blend with wool. Cashmere equals money. For 10 bucks, I'll probably go for, who knows, 60 to 100 bucks on that. And just another awesome item. I'm going to try to speed things up a little bit here. I know this is getting repetitive. $7.99 on that. Sorry if the light is hard to see. This is another, wow, another Gianluca. This thing is crazy. $7.99 right there. Can't pronounce it, but I know it's worth a lot of money. Probably, I don't know, 60 to 100 plus on that again. Next item, I mean, this just keeps going and going. Oh my gosh, Ermenegildo Yegna, another one, heritage style for 10 bucks, 50 to 100 on that, maybe more. What do we got here? Another Belvest, super 110s, $9.99, probably shoot for 50 to 75. Next item is another Ermenegildo Yegna, Napoli something. I don't know how to pronounce that. I can't talk half the time. $7.99. I mean, that looks custom. That looks beautiful. Great color. 3-button style. I mean, who knows? 50 to 100 bucks all day long on that. Get out of here. Next item that I picked up. $9.99. Another sport coat. I mean, this is just ridiculous. This is getting repetitive now. Another Belvest. $9.99. Probably, I don't know, 50 to 75 on that. Next item I picked up, $9.99 again. Here's another Belvest. You know the story on that. Here's another item made in Italy, $9.99. Belvest. Yep, you're getting to know Belvest pretty well today. Here's another brand that I picked up, and this is the first time ever picking it up. Nice style, nice design. The material felt high quality, so I rolled the dice on it. Got to do some more research, but the brand is Beltrami. I don't really know too much about it. I got to do some more research, but has this little tag here, stretch. Looked it up in the sold listings. It seems like it's doing pretty well. Probably shoot for 50 or 60 on that. Whew, got to catch my breath. And the last item that I picked up, $7.99, made in Italy again, is the brand Canali. This is exclusive collection, made in Italy. Very nice material. I think it's 100% rayon. But again, probably shoot for 50 to 75 on that, if not more. Just throwing out some rough estimates. So, whew, that is my haul, you guys. Those are the items that I found. I'm sweating right now because I have never talked this much at one time, it seems like. I mean, this is crazy. I mean, this is just a ridiculous haul. This just proves if you go out to the thrift stores and you put yourself in a position to get lucky, once in a while you will. And it's just a matter of going out there. I got to get the day started, guys. I mean, I got a lot of stuff to do today. I got some stuff to list. I've got some stuff to ship out, get ready for tomorrow to ship out, and some Kindle stuff. But I wanted to show you guys this stuff. It was just amazing. Hopefully it inspired you to go out there and go picking. That's what it's all about. So if you like this video, hit the thumbs up, comment, subscribe. If you want to check some more of my videos out, go over to my Facebook. I got them all posted over there, Raiken Profit and whatnot. So thanks for watching. Keep on picking and making that money, and I'll see you guys soon. Bye. What's going on, everybody on YouTube? Steve with Raiken Profit. Today's video, I'm going to show you guys how I store my clothing inventory because a lot of people have been asking me. So I figured now that I moved into the new place, I got some better lighting, might as well show you. So let's go inside. I'll show you the supplies that I use to do this and how you can start to organize your clothes based on the method that I use. Okay, now that we're inside, I'm going to show you the supplies that you're going to need to be able to do this. So the first thing you need is a clothing hanger. Secondly is some masking tape. You can get that over at Lowe's or Home Depot. Third is some scissors. And fourth is a permanent marker, something that stands out. And what you're going to do is you're going to take this piece of tape. You're going to tape it onto this part of the hanger right here. You're going to write your inventory number down, which I'll show you my method in a few minutes. And obviously the scissors is to cut the tape. And once you do that, you'll have something that looks like this. And you got the hanger with the masking tape with a letter and a number associated to it. And I'm going to bring you down into my storage unit right now, show you my clothing hangers and my, the clothes and the clothing racks and everything so you could see. And I'll explain my actual method for choosing the letter and number associated to the hanger. All right, we're moving downstairs to the storage locker. Down into the dungeon, as I like to call it. All right, here we are. We are in the dungeon. That's what I like to call it now. This place is kind of creepy. But as you see, I've got my clothing racks. Let me see if the lights are on good. Yeah, I guess that's the best it's going to be for now. But here's my clothing racks. As you can see, there's 4 tiers. 1 right there, 2, 3, and 4. And right now in here, I've got... see, 1, 2, 3. I've got 4 clothing racks. Each clothing rack holds about 250 to 300 pieces of clothing. So again, you can see there's 4 actual units in here, 4 clothing racks, and each clothing rack has 4 tiers. So with that being said, I'm going to explain to you my actual method for creating my inventory number. And then I'll talk about where I put my inventory number in my listing so I can find it. So as you can see, let's actually start over here. This is my first rack, and I've got it labeled. I actually took the labels off, but I label it each tier. So this would be A, this would be B, right up here, this would be C, and then this would be D. So as you can see, that's how I associate a letter to it. And I actually took off the tape off the actual racks, but I'm going to put it back on. But as you can see, this is the A tier. Everything in here is A, A1 all the way to A80. And then this is the next one. This would be B up here. So as you can see, B all the way down. Now I'll bring you over here. This should be labeled C right here, and it will be. But as you can see, those are all the C's, and then down here would be the D's. So moving on, this is A through D right here, the first rack, and then the next one would be E, F, G, and H, which is over here. We've got E, F, G, and H. Some of these things are out of whack right now because I'm still organizing. And then over here, there's JKLM, and then NOPQ, whatever. You guys see what I'm saying. So it all goes in order. Each rack goes up another letter. So in my actual eBay listings, what I have is, if you take a look at my listings, I'll have an inventory number somewhere in my listing. So when something sells, let me flip this around. So when something sells, I actually go into my eBay description. I see what the inventory number is. So it will be a letter and a number. And let's just say that a Ralph Lauren custom fit dress shirt sold and it was A45. So I'll go over here to the A section. I'll go A1 all the way down to 45 and boom. It'll be right there and I'll pick it out. So it's pretty easy. Again, like I said, the clothing racks, I have 4 clothing racks. There's 4 tiers on each clothing rack. The first one is A through D, moving on, and then, you know, E, F, G, and H, and all the way to the end. So the more tiers that I have, or the more clothing racks I have, the more letters that I'm going to start associating in my listings and whatnot. But that's pretty much how I do it. You don't have to do it that way, but just be creative. Try to figure out a way so that when something sells, you can find it. That's the key. You don't have to use letters and numbers. You could use a whole different system if you like. But again, that's how I do it. That's how I organize my system. My clothing, it really isn't rocket science. It's very, very simple. And again, if I have 5 to 10 things that sold, I usually just pull out my phone. I don't have it on me right now, and I'll just look in each description of each item that's sold, and I'll just pick them out. It only takes me 5 to 10 seconds to find each item. So hopefully you enjoyed this video. I got to keep working. I've got about 30 listings to do. I got some pictures to take and some inventory to get ready for my employee coming in on Monday to take a whole bunch of pictures and whatnot of that stuff and list it all. But yeah, I hope everyone has a great day. Keep on picking and making that money, and I'll talk to you guys soon. Peace. And also, I want to let you folks know, if you're interested in purchasing some of those clothing racks, check the comment section below. I do have some links to that clothing rack in particular for sale on Amazon. It is an Amazon affiliate link, so if you do purchase from that link, I will get a little commission. I appreciate that, but definitely check it out. There's some awesome racks. You can fit a lot of stuff. They're strong, and the people who sell it are really cool, so definitely check it out. What's going on, guys? Steve here, Raiken Profit. In today's video, I'm going to be putting together this bad boy. It's a photography cube, and I'm trying to improve my pictures for eBay, especially for my small items, and I really want them to pop and stand out. And if you guys saw my video the other day from phase 1 of my new workspace down in the basement for eBay and Amazon, I mentioned that I was going to improve and upgrade some things. So yeah, here's a photography cube. I'm going to put it together. I'm going to show you a couple different things and some pictures and how it looks, and hopefully this video will help you to come up with some ideas to improve your pictures. So with that being said, let's put this together and let's go try this bad boy out. So this is pretty cool. As you can see, you can actually close this whole thing up, and let me get in here and wow, check that out. That is a beauty. I'm gonna bring you guys inside. Look around. And then you can come up top and you can take pictures from above with all the light locked in. Check that out. That is sweet. I can't even fit my camera in there. Very, very nice. So there's a 12-volt battery right here where you plug it in. Obviously, you're gonna have it plugged into an outlet. The lights go on automatically, it appears, when it's plugged in. And yeah, this is it so far. So I gotta find a place to set this up downstairs. So let's go downstairs. All right, so here is the cube. I've actually been messing around taking some pictures, and hopefully you guys can get a better idea of what's going on here. But it's a pretty big cube right here. I've got it sitting on a table. I've got some items I'm getting ready to list. Like I showed you guys, this flap just comes up like that. So if you wanted to, you could take pictures like this. Based on the tutorials and the videos that I was watching, it's best to, and there's Velcro right here, Velcro the sides, and then there's like 3 little trap doors. 1, 2, and I think they're magnetized, 3. So I try to keep them, you know, closed up as much as possible to keep the light locked in. Also, like I said, at the top, there's another little trap door that you can open up, and you can stick your camera down and get a top view of the item. So yeah, I'm really happy about this this cube right here, and hopefully it's gonna help me to take better pictures and you know, make my listing stand out from the crowd. So I do want to mention, if you guys are interested in this cube and you want to check it out, I'm gonna leave a link down below in the description. You can find it at raikenprofit.com/cube. And you can check it out and see if it's a good fit for you. This is a little bit of a higher end one right here. It's gonna cost you a bit of money, but it has a lot of cool features, and you don't have to have the lights on the outside. They're actually built inside, which, let me see if I can show you a better view of them. So the lights are up there. There's a 12 volt, can't see that, but there's a 12 volt cord that attaches to it. So yeah, let's take some pictures and see how this comes out. I'm gonna take pictures with my iPhone. So like I said, you can take pictures with this door open, but again, it's gonna, you know, some of the light's gonna come out. So let me show you what it looks like. There we go. Let's get that lined up. So I mean, it looks pretty. It still looks beautiful without closing the door. But let me close the door now and see if the pictures look a little better. So it's a little weird. You have to kind of slide your camera in at an interesting angle. It doesn't look like all that is. Let's see, make sure it's all straight. Okay, cool. So there we go. Make sure it's in frame. Yeah, I mean, that looks great. That's a great looking picture. Turn it upside down. Now we're gonna take a picture from the top. This is gonna look cool. Okay. Yeah, look at that. That's pretty neat. Beautiful. Alright guys, well hopefully you enjoyed that behind the scenes video. I have to admit I'm super excited to continue using this, taking more pictures, and building my eBay business back up again. I've got so much inventory to list, but I'm really excited, and I'm looking forward to using this new piece of equipment. It's just a tool. It's not going to, you know, revolutionize my business. I think listing is the #1 thing that folks need to do. It's not necessary to go out and spend, you know, over $100 on an item like this. You can get them cheaper, you can make your own, but at the end of the day, you want to list, and the more inventory you grow and buy and list, typically the more money you're gonna make. So yeah, if you guys do want to check this item out, be sure to go to raikenprofit.com/cube, and you can get your own on Amazon. Keep me posted in the comments what you guys thought, and I'll talk to you guys soon. Bye. What's going on, everybody on YouTube? Steve here, Raiken Profit. Welcome to another live show. On today's live show, we have Luke Henson with the Endless Entrepreneurs YouTube channel. And today we're going to be talking about, and the title is How eBay Seller Luke Henson Plans to Sell $100,000 on eBay in 2017. So we've got a big outline today. We got a lot of stuff that we're going to be covering. But welcome, Luke. How you doing, man? How's your day going?
Doing great. Appreciate you having me on. It was another lovely Monday at work, and come home to my favorite job now, so it's fine.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of good things about you, man. I know you're somewhat new to the reselling community. You said you've been, doing it since November? So about 5 months or so?
Yeah, I've been doing YouTube for about 5 months, yeah.
Cool. So he's got a YouTube channel, Endless Entrepreneurs. I've got that linked up down below. The other day we were doing a live show with the Bonafide Hustler, and I believe was it Christopher Lynn? And
yes.
you were in the comment section.
Yep.
And people have been talking about this guy for a while. He's got a good reputation, and finally I decided to reach out to him and bring him on. And yeah, he's doing some great stuff in the community. So let's dive into the show. Do you mind telling everybody a little bit about you and kind of who you are and your story with reselling?
Absolutely. So I guess I've been reselling for probably about a decade, very seriously for the last 2 or 3 years, and then very seriously, like focused, goal-oriented for like the last year and a half. I started reselling with like video games, kind of garage sale type items, lots of widespread niches. Kind of got away from that because I got frustrated with supply and demand where I lived. Recently moved to Charlotte about 2 years ago, realized it is a gold mine for clothing. And sorry for everyone else wherever you live, but it is one of the best places to thrift for clothing. And got pretty into it since I got down here. I do work full-time. So full-time as a finance analyst in the kind of the corporate world. So I try to balance both. And for me, I think it was really when I decided to get serious about it was I wanted to see A, what I could accomplish while being part-time, and B, to show that if you did ever want to make a transition, that you could do it gradually to full-time, instead of just making the jump necessarily to leave your job if you didn't have to. So right now I have pretty good balance, and I love reselling, and I like my job, and I like sharing the journey with people. So.
Wow, that's really cool, man. I didn't know that you were a full-time financial analyst, you said?
Yep.
I didn't know that, man. So you're working full-time. Is that like 9 to 5, 40 hours a week?
Yeah, like first and last week of the month are like 9 to 7, and then the middle 2 weeks are like a 9 to 4. So it's very rhythmic, but yeah, I mean about 40, 45 hours a week, nothing too crazy.
I bet you that a lot of people watching right now can relate to you. I bet you a lot of people are going through that 9 to 5. They're working full-time, and they've got that goal of, transitioning. I don't know. Did you mention that you wanted to eventually transition to full-time reseller, or do you because there's some people who just really enjoy their 9 to 5 and they love it, and they just like the balance? What's your story?
Yeah, so that's kind of been the theme of the last couple of videos I've done. Everyone keeps grilling me on that, and to be honest, I don't know. So right now, like the balance is perfect. I get enough out of my job socially and interacting with people and kind of having the structure, and I get enough out of my business because it's still growing rapidly, so it's engaging. But I think will be the tipping point for me mentally will be when I can't grow my business anymore because my full-time job's restricting me. So I don't know when that scale will tip, but I'm curious to push the limits and kind of see how that goes.
So do you have like kids, family, wife, mortgage, all that?
So I've got a fiance. So we've been engaged since last October, I guess. And we're getting married this next January.
Oh, congrats.
Yeah, thanks. And she actually just started reselling this last month. She made fun of me relentlessly our entire relationship for it, thought it was the weirdest thing. And then magically one day, like a month ago, was like, oh, I'm just going to start selling women's clothing. I'm like, oh, okay. So she's actually doing pretty well with it, which is cool.
Cool. Awesome. What about, do you own or do you rent? And I'm asking this for a reason.
No, you're fine. So we own a townhouse in the South Charlotte area, and it's just like, I don't know, it's decent size. It's probably like 1,600 square feet. I know where you're going with it. That's why I'm giving the size dimensions. But yeah, so it's a nice little community. It's quiet, works for me. I like to go to bed early and wake up early. So it's a perfect fit for me.
So you thought I was going to say, do you have room to go full time? Which obviously you do. But the reason I was going there was because a lot of people, they're working full-time jobs and they want to transition to, being a full-time reseller, but they've got so much, whether it's debt with a mortgage or student loans, maybe they have kids and a family. And, people always ask me, Steve, how did you go from, working a full-time regular job to full-time reselling? And to be 100% honest, like there was nothing special about me. Like I lived at home with my parents. I didn't have a lot of bills. Like it was easy for me. Like I'm just being 100% honest. Like it was very easy for me. I had nothing to lose. But there are some people who they have so much to lose, right? Like maybe, you probably went to school, I'm guessing, for what, 4 years or so?
Yeah, I did 4 years, and
job,
then my master's part-time for quite a while. Still paying for that one.
So anyways, man, that's cool. I didn't know that about you. So let's dive into this show, guys. Actually, before we do, let's shout some people out because we have 134 people watching live, and I feel like there's a lot of endless entrepreneurs, raving fans in the comments section right now. We've got Tony Love saying, hi, guys. Carol's Gift Shop, good to see ya. Sonia, always learning from you. Thank you. Appreciate that, Sonia. Rick Day from Kentucky. Drummer, Terry Berry. I love that name. No TV. So there's a lot of people in the comments, guys. If you are watching live right now, drop a comment down below. Say hello. Hit the like button, guys, as well. Hit the like button if you want Luke to smash his goal. You already know what his goal is because it's in the title, but hit that like button for Luke. With that being said, let's dive into this show. What's your goal, man, for 2017 in terms of your eBay business?
Yeah, so I mean, at the highest level, I want to sell $100,000 in gross sales on eBay, and I want to do it in the clothing niche. That when I define the clothing niche for me, that means men's and women's. I'm just starting to expand into women's jeans. I'm not sure I'll go much further than that, but women's jeans I can do. But all men's clothing is from suits, blazers, ties, dress shirts, pants, jeans, shoes. And shoes is one of my most recent ones I'm starting to move into. But so I want to stay in that niche. I don't really want to, and I say cheat, it's not really cheating, but I want to build something that is very niche oriented and is kind of a machine first before expanding. So that 100,000 is kind of wrapped into that goal. Cool. And I think, and I would like an average sell price of about $28 if I can along the way. That's, to me, is acceptable for my profit margin to pursue it.
Nice, man. And to kind of give some context to this whole, show and the goal that you have and everything, how long have you been selling on eBay, and like, where are you coming from? Did you, maybe did you do, you don't have to give the specific numbers, but have you ever come close to 100,000, or is this like a huge goal for you? Like, is this just like a number that you chose out of left field and you're like, I just want to hit it? It's like just a milestone, 100,000.
Yeah, so it's kind of twofold there. I mean, I've been selling clothing for probably about 3 years ago. I stumbled on one of your videos, Steve. That was what got me into it. And I started very slowly. I mean, it was like a year and a half. I mean, doing a couple $100 a month, maybe 1,000 occasionally. And then this last year I ramped up really hard from August to the close of the year and ended up doing it was like about $42,000 in gross sales. And so I was like, okay, if I can ramp up the back half of the year like that, I'd like to set something more aggressive. And for me, when I started crunching the numbers of 100,000 and what that meant monetarily to me, it meant a lot of freedom at the end of the year to make choices. And I wasn't sure what I wanted those to be, but I wanted to be in the position to look at it and go, all right, I am going to go this direction or I'm not, and feel comfortable about it and making the plunge. So, I mean, that's really what it came down to for me.
Yeah. Money's just a resource right there. But when you have enough money saved up, you've got options. You've got different decisions that you can make. And, one thing that helped me to, leave my job. And again, I was nothing special. I probably didn't have half the pressures that you have going on. I had some money that I was saving up, and every month I would put money aside and I would save money. And when you've got that nice nest egg there, you can make a decision that's outside of just your emotions. So that's pretty cool, man. So you did what, 42,000? Now you're looking to almost double that, you said?
Yeah, I'd like to get it to 100, at least.
That's cool.
I mean, yeah. So
awesome. So let's start to kind of break down your goal and dive into it. And hopefully this can help others out there who are listening. And really what I hope this accomplishes for you guys is that after this show, you can take what Luke talks about and discusses about his goal, and you could break it down to your goal. So maybe you could figure out, okay, well, maybe I need a goal. This is the goal that I want. This is my average price per sale. This is what I need to sell. This is where I need to source. So take what he says and kind of bring it into your life and bring it into context for what you're trying to accomplish. So what types of items do you buy and sell? You mentioned clothing. So is that like 99% clothing? Like,
Yeah, I mean it's pretty much 99.8% clothing. I did pick up 2 Vera Bradley purses this other day. I mean that's probably about as diversified as I get, and that's just because it was hanging on a men's shirt rack. So not it was by happen chance. But yeah, I mean exclusively clothing, and 85% men's, with the other 15% being women's jeans probably.
So one thing I always talk about with people is if you want to grow your sales, typically you're going to have to do a couple various things. And the first thing is listing more. So you want to sell $100,000. Have you actually, reverse engineered it and broken down like exactly how many items you're going to have to sell at an average price per sale? So let's talk about, how many items that you need to list per week, just based on your projections and your thoughts on that.
Absolutely. So I love that you said reverse engineer, because I honestly think that's the key to being successful. I think you've listened to Peter Voog before, but he's like one of my favorites. 6
months to 6 figures, man. That's like one of the best. I've listened to that book, no lie, like 18 times.
Yeah, I'm up there probably at least 7 or 8.
That's like the best book. You just earned brownie points right there. Nobody listens to that book.
Yeah, I love the way he breaks down goal setting. I mean, that's pretty much, and as I walk through this with you, you're going to be like, oh yeah. I mean, I took his model, and I always preface this, nothing I do is original. So I don't claim that anything I do in my business is original. I find what works for people, and I take it and try to use it. So I took the 100,000, and for me, I looked at last year, and I said, all right, what was my net profit? My net profit pre-tax was 57%. And I said, all right, if I scale, I think conservatively, I can still hold a 50% net margin. It may actually go up as my brand knowledge increases and I have better buying power, but so let's just conservatively say 50%. And so then I started doing the math. So I want to net 50K. How many items am I selling per month now? How many items do I need to sell in total to get there? And so I just started breaking it down, and I figured out I need to sell about 3,571 items at $28 a piece. My $28 sale price is what I want to get to. Yep. I don't have all the numbers in front of me. I did do like a nice laid out business plan video on my channel, but basically I went by month, by week, and by day of how many listings I needed to do to continue growing my inventory to where I thought it needed to get to sustain the sales, as well as include how many sales I needed to get. Because that's what some people don't understand, is when you start to scale, it becomes harder to grow because you sell faster and then your inventory.
You got to bring more items in. That's one of the things I struggle with, man. Touch more on that, because that is one of the biggest things that, I didn't even realize as well.
Yeah. I mean, it's happening faster than I thought. And that's one of my worries I need to really adjust on. But I went from selling like 100 to 115 items a month in the back half of the year to selling I think I did like 242 this last month. And so my goal was to do 350 a month, and hopefully continually add about 100 to 150 items a month into my inventory. But it's looking like I'm going to get to mid-year, and that's going to be like adding 50 or 70, which is a great problem to have, but I need to find some more time in the day to list a few more things, I think.
Are you a one-man show? I was just going to ask you, man, because you're working a full-time job, and you're doing this, you're trying to hit 6 figures. Are you by yourself? I know you said your fiance just got started reselling, so you're training her up. Is she helping you?
She is not helping me.
Come on now. We're going to have a conversation with her after the show.
She is very independent, and she likes to keep things very separate and do it on her own. In fact, almost to the opposite degree, where she had to figure everything out on her own. She didn't want me to tell her to do, which I respect. So
I respect that too, yeah.
But no, so I am a one-man show. I have been since the beginning. I had one of my best buddies lived here in Charlotte for quite a few months when I first moved here, and he was helping me prep items back in, I guess that was middle of last year. That was an awesome setup for me. I may have to entertain that the back half of this year, is finding someone. I literally would drop off the items in a bin. He would prep and picture and measure them, give them back to me, and it just streamlined my process so much.
I had the same setup a while back. It gets to a pain, and it's a little, sorry to interrupt you, but it was kind of a pain in the butt after a while, always having to drag everything over there. I don't know what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, that I would probably have to work, and I would rather just pay someone a little more and have them drop them off to me. I mean, honestly, I'd be like, hey, just come pick up my porch and drop them back off. I mean, to me, time, what I'm figuring out very fast, I already knew it, but I didn't know it till it started to ramp up this much. My time is so much more valuable now than it was 3 months ago. I mean, and I just mean that from the value of what I can do listing versus if I'm moving items around. So that's just what I've been starting to figure out.
So do you mind if I ask you a little bit? It's not on our, beautiful outline. I've got to be
That's
so
fine.
organized.
Fine.
But I'm curious, just out of my own personal interest, to be honest, like, how do you manage working? Like, could you kind of break down your schedule? Like, you're working full time. Sometimes it's 9 to 5, 9 to 6, based on, the end of the month or whatever you were mentioning. But like, when do you like find time to list? Is it like every day, like before or after work? I don't know if you follow Steven Peterson with the e-commerce momentum podcast, but this guy's like a freaking beast, dude. He works full time. He's like busting his butt in the morning at like 5 a.m., going to the gym, doing eBay, coming home. Like, he's just like crazy, man. Like, he's such a hustler. Like, how do you do it, man? How do you manage your schedule? Because there's listing, there's sourcing, there's shipping, there's customer service. Like, how do you do it?
Yeah, it was an adjustment. So, and I knew it coming into the year, and I really thought through how I want to do it. I've always struggled with balance a little bit. I'm definitely an extremist. So how I had to structure everything was basically, when I started the year, I wake up at 4 a.m. And I will say the last 3 to 4 weeks, I haven't, because I had family in town and then I got really sick. And so I'm just starting to shift back into getting that routine again. But the whole first half of the year, I was getting up at 4 a.m. I like to read and journal for like a half hour. Just kind of start to wake up my mind right a little bit. And then from 4:30 to 7, I just go hard with eBay. So, and I always set a timer, and I will list. So like, I'll do an hour of measurements usually, or an hour of pictures, and then an hour of measurements, and then I'll list whatever time I have left. So I always try to prep more items than I'm going to list, so I have a surplus in case if I lose out the next day on time for whatever reason. I always have a surplus. I'll try to get 12 items up in the morning before I even leave, so completely done. I head to work, I drop off my shipping. So we have an overnight bin, so I can go in before the post office opens, just drop it all in there.
Nice.
Head to work. At lunchtime, I take my lunch break, I go to my storage unit, pick up all my sales for the day before. Usually, if I have time, I'll hit a thrift store. If not, I'll go back to work. I get home, I'll ship whatever I need to right away, get it done, just out of the way. And then I'll thrift if I can. If not, I spend the rest of the night listing pretty much. Now, I preface, I have a very understanding and very ambitious fiance that might not work for everyone else who doesn't buy into that. When the person you live with has to buy into it too, and she does. So that works. And then I spend my whole weekend sourcing usually hit 6 or 7 stores on the weekend. I try to hit at least 8 stores a week, sometimes 10. But yeah, that's pretty much, I don't watch a lot of TV. Like,
dude, you're a hustler, man. I didn't know you were that hardcore of a hustler. Holy crap. You are going hard. You need to link up with Steven Peterson, because your schedule is very, very similar to his. He wakes up early. He's doing things before work, lunch break, like it seems like almost in a sense, you don't let any minute go to waste. You're ahead of the ball. You know exactly what you have to do.
That's what I try to do. I mean, I fall short plenty, but yeah. I mean, the way I figure is if I set a huge goal and a rigid schedule and I get 85% there, I'm probably better than setting a lax one and getting all the way there. So,
do you sleep in like on the weekends or anything like that? Because one of the hard things that, like, I was waking up at 5 a.m. for the longest time. I'm actually waking up at 7 a.m. now. For some reason, I just started feeling like crap. I couldn't get to sleep early enough. And I don't know if I'm like a little girl or whatnot. I need my 7 hours, 8 hours of sleep. But like my overall quality of life, I noticed, was like slowly starting to go down, just because I just felt like so tired all the time. Waking up at 5 a.m. I couldn't fall asleep at night. How are you waking up at 4 a.m.? Like, do you require very little sleep?
So it's a great question, and it's funny because I've had to adapt, and I think I kind of have this semi-answer to what you're going through. Is I was trying to do, when I first started the year off, I was trying to do hammer and chisel, which is like a heavy lifting program. And it requires, and I didn't realize, it requires a lot more sleep when you're trying to build muscle and work out than if you're just doing cardio. And so I got to a point where I had to shift. So I've shifted to just doing like 30-minute cardio, like insanity type workouts, because it requires too much sleep. My body doesn't recover. And then I was the same thing as you. I was tanking like 8 o'clock, 7 o'clock at night. I was just dead. My mental capacity was done. Like, my energy was shot. And so, I mean, really what I eat and working out consistently is what's kept me going. I've just had to adjust those to fit how but I mean, if I wake up at 4 and I'm doing it regularly, like normal, I'm in bed by 9. Like, I'm laying in bed at 9. I'm falling asleep by 9:30. Like, you have to. It's not like I'm staying up till 11, wake up at 4.
You're right. I noticed when I was getting to bed 8, 9, 10. Sometimes it's tough, when you're a young guy and, people want to go out and friends and, late YouTube shows and whatnot. It's tough, but you're so right about that. When I was able to wake up that early, I had to be getting to bed at 9. 9:30. So that's really cool. Are you sleeping in on the weekends? I forgot. I don't know if you answered that.
I didn't answer that. Sorry. Yeah, I do. I mean, when I say sleeping in, I sleep into like 9.
Okay, cool.
9 feels like a dream. It's amazing. So yeah, sleep until 9, and then usually just our thrift store is open at 9 here, so I'm usually doing by 10. And Shannon, now that I have Shannon to go with, actually it's a little more motivational. So we try to hit 4 or 5 stores. Then we can stop and have dinner together, then come back and spend the rest of the night prepping and listing and doing things like that. So.
Awesome. Cool, man. That's very, very interesting. I'm looking through some of my notes. What type of business model do you run right now when it comes to your eBay store? I know you're selling primarily clothing. There's the fast nickel, there's the slow dime approach. There's a mix of both. How would you classify your business model on eBay when it comes to selling clothes?
Yeah, so I'm definitely the slow dime. I'm always pricing at the upper, I would say 75% quadrant of what I think I can get for the item every time. And the reason why, I've done a couple of videos on this, I'm in a position where I don't use my eBay business to pay bills. So therefore, it's more beneficial for me to grow my inventory with my time and get max dollar for most things, or at least close, that 75, 80%. Has a lot more benefit in the long run if I stick to that model for a year. And then if I need to ever run sales or do whatever, I can, but better to start higher, maximize, because what we talked about earlier is my time. As this scales, if I can't keep up with the back end of shipping as things go up, right, and all the customer service and things like that, then I'm just killing myself for no reason. I'm not getting enough profit to outweigh that. So what I've even started to do this month is I usually run a 20% off sale every 2 days, and I knocked it down to 15% because I was like, I need to slow down my sell through. And some people were like, whoa, like, why would you do that? Well, to me, I need to keep up with the back end. I'd rather keep growing it and just get a little higher dollar, have a fewer less sales, but make the same profit. And so there's just that fine line, I think, from an economic standpoint. I'm guessing you're doing a buy it now, best offer. Buy it now, best offer. Yep.
Buy it now, best offer. What do you say? Some people don't. I don't know if you follow. Actually, I know you do because I think you're having a show with him soon. Ronnie, Hearts Pickers.
Yeah, I love
this guy, man, like he's been a mentor to me, like good friend. Like, have you ever seen the prices he gets for items? And like, I don't know how he gets them. Like, this guy is like the clothing god. He gets
have magical pictures. That's all I can chalk out. He has magical pictures.
The funny thing is, he used to take pictures against like a bathroom door, and it wasn't even like, it was decent, right? But it was like nothing special. Here I am, I'm setting up this nice mannequin, this backdrop, and he used to always get like twice as much as me. Like, and he didn't even offer best offer. Like, so like the point I'm trying to make is some people say like buy it now is the way to go because when you have the best offer, people will lowball you and kind of, bust your balls in a sense and try to see what they can get out of you. But he used to kill it with just buy it now. What's your reason for, first of all, going with buy it now versus auction? And why do you decide to add the best offer to that buy it now?
Yeah, so I mean, two real simple reasons. And the first is comment on Ronnie's model. I will say there is some implicit truth to price drives value. And when people view something that's higher priced, they sometimes implicitly just go, oh, it's worth more. And when you don't have best offer and it's a firm price, I think psychologically, if it's a unique item, they feel like it's worth a ton and they're willing to pull the trigger. So that's that. But for me, I do best offer because I need motivation. So when I'm at work all day, getting notifications all day, even if they're low balls and I counter and they don't, it motivates me when I'm at work all day to get home and do what I need to do. Or, it just kind of gets me through the day. When I get big enough, I think you're right. I'll probably drop best offer for the most part, or I'll just do like a filter where I only auto accept over, 80% or whatever. But yeah, it's more of a motivation thing. I mean, I don't know. That's pretty much.
I got a question for you, man. It could be quite personal, but you've got to promise before I ask. You have to promise to answer it honestly, and it's not on the outline.
Yeah, that's fine. I'm scared, but I'll answer it.
You have to be 100% honest, though. Okay.
That's fair. I like transparency.
When you're working at your job, do you have the cha-ching going off?
If I have my headphones in, yes, which is 80% of my day. So
I could just imagine you. I don't know if you work at a cubicle or not, but I could just imagine it. All of a sudden, like cha-ching, and everyone just like, what?
Yeah, I've a couple times I've forgotten to silence my phone, and it's a little awkward, but no questions so far. So
I tell you right now, the Amazon sellers, they won't get it, but those cha-chings, man, I'm telling you, those things keep you going.
Absolutely.
There was a time where like my phone like wouldn't cha-ching, and it was like the saddest thing, and I kept uninstalling it and reinstalling it. That cha-ching is like makes up like 40% of eBay sales. Like I tell you right now, like it motivates sellers to want to list.
Absolutely.
What do you think your biggest challenges that you're facing right now, and could be the biggest roadblock for you in terms of you getting to the $100,000 mark at the end of the year?
Um, I mean, simply stated, probably time. Just make it like staying efficient with my time. Simply because I mean we're hitting summer season, and I mean most people their years are a lot busier from May to September, right? And I feel like if I slack during those months, I'm going to lose so much momentum leading into fourth quarter that I might fall short. And so like I have a wedding I have to go to literally every month from May to September, and they're all out of state. So it's like I know off the top I have 3 to 3.5 weeks to work each month versus the full 4. So really that's my biggest roadblock, and I just need to figure out a way to work ahead. But I'm a super big believer in not adjusting your goal and adjusting your effort instead. So like I'm very adamant about that, and I'm really trying to plan now ahead for like Q3 on how to really adjust for that.
Do you think there's any way you can get somebody to help you out with your business while you're gone, to ship your items, at least to keep your store open, right? Because I don't know, like from my experience, closing your store and putting it on vacation mode and reopening it, it always just seems to get a little funky for a couple days. Like just from my experience, like if I put it on vacation mode and I open it, like I just feel like you don't just start cha-chinging like crazy. It like almost takes a day or two for the algorithm to pick you up again. Again, it's not a fact. It's just me.
Yeah.
No, just based on my experience. But what are your thoughts on that?
Well, I do want to get someone involved in my business in the back half of the year, mostly on the prepping side, like photos and measurements. I don't think so much on that side. But I will say I've done an experiment with vacation modes versus handling time. And vacation mode, I experienced the same thing you said. I experienced a big dip in sales, and then it took even longer to like get back up and running when I took it off vacation settings. I changed my handling time when I was gone for a week to 7 days. And my sales maybe dropped 10% overall for that week. And I had no complaints from customers.
Cool.
When they bought the item, I was remote, and I just emailed them. I just said, hey, I just want to remind you that our handling settings have changed because we're on vacation. If this is inconvenient, let us know. We can cancel the order. And I had no one cancel orders, no issues. And so like that's kind of how I've done it. I mean, I know there's some mixed opinions out there, and there's some really strong opinions about one or the other, but I mean, that's what's worked for me. I feel like I'm being transparent with my buyer. Like I'm delivering the quality I'm promising. So I haven't had any issues.
That's a great tip right there. Thanks for sharing that. Yeah. I'm looking in the comment section right now, and there are 217 people watching live right now. So we're at the halfway mark. So we're gonna ask you guys to hit the like button really quick if you could. Let's get it up to 150 likes. Do you think we can get there, Luke?
I hope we can get there. Let's go, guys.
This has been a really cool show so far. I've definitely been learning a lot, and I didn't know you were such a hustler, man. And the hustle and seeing somebody just waking up early and full-time job and fiance and busting butt, sourcing, lunch break, shipping, like that inspires me. Like I'm pumped up. Like thanks, Luke. I'm not gonna be able to fall asleep tonight, man, because I'm just too pumped up right now. But if you guys are excited about this show and having fun, hit the like button, subscribe if you're not already. Definitely appreciate that. Let's transition into your channel a little bit. There's a couple things I wanted to talk about, and then we're going to jump into the clothing. We're going to talk about, your favorite brands to buy and sell, tips for new clothing sellers, how to acquire cheap clothing, sourcing, a whole bunch of different things. But real quick, your YouTube channel is Endless Entrepreneurs.
Yep,
on YouTube.
Entrepreneurs. Yep.
And it is the first link down in the description. And I wanted to ask you, what was your reason for documenting your journey on your channel? Because I noticed that like every week or two, you're updating or it might be monthly, I'm not sure, but it looked like it was every couple of weeks. You're updating your channel about your progress, your sales. Why are you like diving so deep into your business? Because a lot of people try to like hold it to themselves. They don't want to share their specifics. What was your reason for documenting that on your channel?
Yeah, I mean, for me, the first reason was just accountability. I've set some big goals before and kind of fallen off the wagon with eBay, and it's mostly because I don't have anyone I feel like I'm not holding myself accountable to, right? Like when I couldn't believe the accountability from YouTube when I'm getting ready to I know I have to do a sales update video in a couple of days or a month wrap up, and I said I'm going to list X amount of items, and So people who followed me on Instagram have seen my last week has just been nuts trying to get to the 350. But it's like, you just do it. You're just like, well, I can't be a liar. Like, I can't be a liar. And, you know, they have your store name and they know, I mean, they can track your live listings. Like, it's not like you can get out of it. Like, they know, they see what you sell, what you did. So, I mean, that was the first part. And now looking back, I would say that's shifted away from accountability, why I maintain it. And it's more about the community. I had no idea how like immersive and deep the reseller community was. I mean, I've been a part of the green room for a while now, and like I've always enjoyed it, you know, interacting and the value you get there. But there's just something different about having video and interacting with comments, and like I've learned so much from people who watch my videos and comment like, "Hey, you should try it this way. Hey, you should try it this way." And so like the value I've gotten there is just insurmountable. So
yeah, every person you meet, right, regardless of where they are in their journey, if they have a bigger or small YouTube channel, if they're just getting started on eBay or they've been in it for 10 years or whatever, there's always something to learn from everybody. So, you know, I think our biggest suggestion is, you know, get involved in this community, start a YouTube channel, start a Facebook group, you know, get in the comments and interact, because there's just something about networking that helps to up your game. You learn so much. So that's really cool. Let's dive into some of your tips for goal setting. What tips do you have for folks out there who they're watching, they're listening, they're getting pumped up, and they're like, you know what, you know, I admire this guy. He's going for $100,000 in sales. He's documenting on his channel, but, you know, I want to set a goal. I want something like, you know, how do you advise people to kind of create their goal and go for it?
So this is going to sound kind of cheesy, but I think it's so true, is before you even define your goal, you have to figure out why you even want it. And I think that was one of the biggest gaps I had for a long time, was I didn't realize how big a deal having financial freedom would be. And when I say financial freedom, I mean not being constrained to my job or to anyone else, being able to make whatever choice I wanted. I didn't understand the increase in quality of life for that. And so when I did wrap my head around that, I was like, oh, like this is worth it. Like it's worth waking up at 4 a.m. It's worth doing these things. So, you know, first I would recommend figure out what is worth it to set the goal for. Then once you figure out what's worth it, then you need to actually set some defined goals that you can measure and work towards and reverse engineer. You know, and I think that's the second step. And once you figured out what that, like, and I would say look in a year window. Looking 3, 5, 10 years down the road is okay, but it's more of like that dream state, right? It's like thinking you're not being as tangible, whereas like that year out, you start getting more tangible with tasks and backing them, you know, to monthly, to daily, weekly. So that would be my second tip.